NDTV brings you the best breakfast show.
Breakfast news on NDTV, 8 a.m. every day.
I've been reporting on all issues, big and small, from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
India's IT capital is always buzz. It's literally a city that never sleeps. And I keep you ahead on all the Bengaluru buzz.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah.
आमकां आमचे हात सगळ्या बाळांकडे धुवपाक जाय, फाटल्यान बी धुवपाक जाय आनी नाकटां बी साफ दवरूंक जाय.
சோப்பு போட்டு கைகளை கழுவிய பின் சுத்தமான துண்டு பயன்படுத்தி நன்றாக துடைக்கவும்.
खाने के पहले शौच के बाद सदा धोएं सबसे है.
खांसना छींकना के भी जगह पर छूने के बाद अपना हाथ साबुन न धोया चेंद.
असल प्रकारले हात धुने आदत राखौ. आफूसँगै समाजका प्रत्येक सदस्यहरूलाई बिमारीबाट बचाऊ.
ଖାଇବା ପୂର୍ବରୁ ପାଇଖାନାରୁ ଆସିବା ପରେ ଓ ଯେତେବେଳେ ବି ହାତ ମଇଳା ହେବ ହାତ ନିଶ୍ଚୟ ଧୁଅନ୍ତୁ.
रोज ऐसे संक्रमण के खिलाफ सबसे अच्छा बचाव है बार-बार साबुन से हाथ धोना.
स्वागत है आपका बनेगा स्वस्थ इंडिया के इस 11वें साल की सेलिब्रेशन में. अच्छा, मैं एक एक्स्ट्रा एक्साइटेड इसलिए भी हूं क्योंकि मेरा सेकेंड ईयर है ये. लेकिन इस साल ही एक साल में आई बिकम ऑल द मोर कमिटेड टुवर्ड्स दिस मिशन ऑफ हेल्दी होम्स दैट लीड टू अ हेल्दी सोसाइटी एंड अ हेल्दी नेशन. स्वस्थ भारत, ये 11 साल का सफर, इट्स बीन नथिंग शॉर्ट ऑफ अमेजिंग. हमने हाइजीन, क्लेanलीनेस और स्वच्छता के कैंपेन को एक जन आंदोलन का रूप दिया है. एक या दो नहीं, 10 या 20 नहीं, सैकड़ों या हजारों नहीं, लाखों या करोड़ों नहीं, 1 बिलियन से भी ज्यादा लोग इसमें जुड़े. हमने शुरू किया स्कूलों से by asking kids to do the simplest thing all of us should be doing, washing our hands properly. और ये नंबर भी आपको चौंका देगा. 34 बिलियन ऐसे मौके आए when school going children wash their hands, and I must say proudly they did it. फिल्मों में दिखाई जाने वाली हाथों की ताकत को छोड़िए, रियल लाइफ में these hands have the power to keep us healthy and germ free. तो हम सबके हाथ सुपर हीरो हैं. Did you know Swachh Bharat mission in the last 10 years has managed to make 10 crore toilets across India. We are very clear that this is one world, one family. ये कोई 3 घंटे के अंदर खत्म हो जाने वाली फिल्म नहीं है, ये रियल लाइफ है. जैसे हैप्पी और हेल्दी बनाने की जिम्मेदारी हम पर है, बिल्कुल इस कैंपेन की तरह. आज जब 2 अक्टूबर है, उन महात्मा का जन्मदिन है जिनकी लर्निंग्स हम कभी नहीं भूल सकते. उन्होंने हमें एक ऐसी सोसाइटी बनने का विजन दिया जो सिंप्लिसिटी और सफाई के सहारे आगे बढ़ेगी, ना केवल शरीर से बल्कि मन से भी स्वस्थ रहेगी. अब जब उनकी दिखाई राह हमें आजकल की मॉडर्न बीमारियों से भी बचने का रास्ता दिखा रही है, तो आज हम दिन भर बात करेंगे अबाउट द वेल्थ ऑफ गुड हेल्थ, द भलाई इन सफाई and being must because we all be swasth.
Namaste, welcome to a milestone moment, the 11th season of the Banega Swasth India campaign. This NDTV Dettol initiative, launched in 2014, has grown into one of India's longest running and one of the most impactful public health campaigns. As we embark on this new season, we're not just looking ahead, we're celebrating a decade of transformation. Today marks the 10th anniversary of the Swachh Bharat mission, a revolutionary step towards a cleaner, healthier India.
15 अगस्त 2014, इस दिन की क्या खासियत है? लाल किले से हमारे प्रधानमंत्री ने एक नई शुरुआत की. पहली बार किसी प्रधानमंत्री ने सार्वजनिक रूप से, पब्लिक प्लेटफॉर्म से एक बात कही। उन्होंने कहा कि खुले में शौच करना बंद करना होगा, इसका संकल्प लेना होगा हर एक इंसान को, हर एक भारतीय को। और वो एक कोई मामूली घटना नहीं थी, क्योंकि उसके बाद एक जन आंदोलन की शुरुआत हुई, एक पब्लिक मूवमेंट की शुरुआत हुई, जन भागीदारी की बात हुई। और उसके बाद हमने क्या देखा? दूर दराज के गांव से लेकर भीड़ भाड़ वाली जगहों पर, सड़कों पर, जिलों में, गांव में, अंबिका, हर जगह एक नए भारत का रूप दिखने लगा। और वो नए भारत की रूप की शुरुआत उस तारीख को हुई थी।
Absolutely. So join us this season as we explore these questions, showcase inspiring stories from across the country, and continue a collective march towards a healthier, cleaner future. Because together, we're not just witnesses to change, we are its architects.
और इसी आर्किटेक्ट्स को डिफाइन करने के लिए एक बहुत अहम आर्किटेक्ट हैं, जिनको मैं स्टेज पर अब इनवाइट करूंगी। गौरव जैन जी हैं, EVP रीजनल डायरेक्टर साउथ एशिया रैकेट, और संजय पुगलिया जी, एडिटर इन चीफ NDTV नेटवर्क। तालियों से उनके स्वागत करें। शुक्रिया हमारे साथ जुड़ने के लिए इस मंच पर, क्योंकि कहते हैं ना, जैसा अंबिका ने कहा, आर्किटेक्ट्स। सो ये हम लोग सब आर्किटेक्ट हैं इस नई शुरुआत के लिए। लेकिन उससे पहले प्रेसिडेंट द्रौपदी मुर्मू ने हमारे लिए कोई एक मैसेज भेजा है, उसको सुनते हैं।
नमस्कार। आज 2 अक्टूबर है, हमारे राष्ट्रपिता की जयंती। महात्मा गांधी को देशवासी स्वाधीनता दिलाने वाले बापू के रूप में तो नमन करते ही है। महात्मा गांधी को अस्वच्छता से लड़ाई के प्रेरणा के स्रोत के रूप में भी हम याद करते हैं। बापू ने स्वच्छता से स्वास्थ्य और सामुदायिक कल्याण का पाठ पढ़ाया था। 2 अक्टूबर 2014 को प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने स्वच्छ भारत अभियान की शुरुआत की थी। पिछले 1 दशक में उस अभियान ने एक जन आंदोलन का रूप ले लिया है। इस अभियान का उद्देश्य है स्वच्छता के लिए लोगों की जीवन शैली में बदलाव और सबका अच्छा स्वास्थ्य। मुझे बताया गया है कि बनेगा स्वस्थ इंडिया कार्यक्रम इस उद्देश्य के साथ आगे बढ़ रहा है। इस कार्यक्रम के तहत पिछले 1 दशक में कई कदम उठाए गए हैं। नए विचारों को मंच दिया गया है, नए प्रयोगों को प्रोत्साहित किया गया है। इससे लोगों के बर्ताव में बदलाव आ रहा है। स्वच्छता को जीवन का अभिन्न अंग बनाना ही इस कार्यक्रम का लक्ष्य है। स्वच्छता स्वास्थ्य का आधार है। 2011 से 2020 के बीच स्वच्छ भारत अभियान के कारण हर साल 60-70 हजार नवजात बच्चों की जान बचाई जा सकी है। इसके साथ ही शिशु मृत्यु दर में भी कमी आई है। नियमित रूप से हाथ धोने जैसे छोटी आदत से भी प्राण रक्षा हो सकती है। NDTV और अन्य समूहों के इस संयुक्त प्रयासों की मैं सराहना करती हूँ। इस प्रयास से हाथ की साफ सफाई के प्रति बच्चों में जानकारी बढ़ी है। इससे गर्भवती महिलाओं में भी सफाई के प्रति जागरूकता बढ़ी है। ऐसे हेल्थ वर्कर्स प्रशिक्षित किए गए हैं जो सरकार के 0 डायरिया लक्ष्य को हासिल करने में मदद कर रही है। इन स्वास्थ्य सेनानियों के प्रयास के कारण अनेक बच्चों ने हाथ की साफ सफाई की आदत डाली है। हाथों को ठीक से धोकर साफ रखने में सबकी भलाई है। धन्यवाद।
10 साल तक ये कैंपेन जो आपने हेल्थ और हाइजीन के अराउंड खड़ा किया है, ऐसे कैंपेन मैंने अपनी पब्लिक लाइफ में बहुत कम देखे हैं जो इतना सस्टेन करे और कंपनी उसको इस तरीके से ऑब्सेशन और पैशन के साथ उस पर काम करे। What motivates Reckitt to do this?
Sanjay ji, before I answer that, I must say I'm filled with a huge amount of gratitude to be part of this campaign, to be leading it from a company or leading the company that leads this. So it's a matter of great pride. It's a matter of great pride for all our employees, for the company, that we are sitting here in the 11th season. And as you said, it's perhaps the longest running campaign of this kind. When we look at brands, when we look at careers, I think आपका career, Ayushman जी का career, brands आप देखें, successful brands, companies, उनके 3-4 there are 3 or 4 things that make long-term success happen. और वो हर चीज़ में सिमिलर ही है. तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आई थिंक फॉर अस इट्स द पर्पस. और जब हमने स्टार्ट किया था, CEO एट दैट टाइम मिस्टर कपूर यूज्ड टू से दैट यू हैव टू डू गुड, which means he said that आपको सोसाइटी के लिए कुछ करना पड़ेगा for the business to do good. That's how it started. And I think today our purpose is to protect, heal and nurture in the relentless pursuit of a healthier, cleaner world. The second, I think, and maybe very importantly, is the team. And I think with people like you, sir, NDTV has been there. I think Ambika has been around for all the 11 years. Manika, Anusuya, I can talk about the whole team who's been there since the beginning of this campaign. My team, Ravi, I think he has 3 people. He's a 3-people army, and he's the most passionate person I have seen in my life who's led this, and nobody apt than him to lead this. And all our partners, so we have about 100 partners, and we can continue to name them. Sesame Street, ma'am is sitting here, Plan India, Jagran, huge amount of work from the government sector. There are UNICEF, UN agencies, all of them. So we all come together and we are all very like-minded in what these guys are experts. We provide a bit of guidance. And because this whole expertise comes together, it makes this stick. And we challenge each other, we push each other, and we make things happen. So I think that's the most important second thing. The third thing, I think, to be successful, you require expertise. अगर आपके पास टैलेंट नहीं है या एक्सपर्टीज नहीं है, आप 1 साल 2 साल के बाद you will fail. And I think with us being a health and hygiene company, we do this. I mean, we think about germs, we think about disease for our brands. All our people think about it. Our sales people think about it. Our marketing people, our R&D people. This is what we do for a living. So all of the people that we have in the organizations that work, they help us to make initiatives and programs that make behavioral change happen on a large scale. And that's obviously very important. So expertise is the third thing. And I think the fourth and maybe the most important thing is results. अगर आपके पास, for being successful over the long term, अगर आपके पहले साल या दूसरे साल के बाद results नहीं आएंगे, तो आप उसके आगे नहीं जाओगे. That's our adrenaline. We see the change. We make more change happen. We see more of it, and we try to scale the next peak as we go along. And I must say, in the morning I met your videographer. Where is he? Manoj. And I just happened to meet him, and Ravi told me that he's been with us for the last 11 years in every campaign, and he's traveled to the mountains and the hills. And I just happened to meet him, and he said something that made my day. And he said, sir, आपका campaign मैंने इतना साल देखा है, और जब मैं गांव में जाता हूं, जब लोग बात करते हैं और जब मैं चेंज देखता हूं, तो मुझे खुशी होती है. And I think hearing it from somebody like that just made me feel amazing, because it's like a testament to what is happening. And I'm not saying it, he said it, and I've told Ravi, this is our reward. And the guy who's been with us, and he said it himself. So I think to me these are the 4 or 5 things that, and we are here for the long haul. We are here till India is completely healthy, and we will continue.
अगर टीम वर्क मकसद के अलावा टीम वर्क क्या कर सकता है, इस पर कोई केस स्टडी करनी हो तो हमारा ये प्रोजेक्ट स्टडी करना चाहिए.
जी, absolutely. In fact, I think passion एक बहुत important चीज़ है, which you rightly said, Gaurav, and of course expertise वो सब साथ आता है. But since you have talked about the impact, and we are going to be showing that through the next 4 hours, the real measure of these numbers, 8.5 lakh schools, 24 million children. The real measure is the voices of those who have been impacted, like Gaurav just said. Well, let's move ahead. We're now being joined by the CEO of Reckitt, Mr. Chris Litt. Welcome to the launch of Season 11 of the NDTV Detol Banega Swasth India. You must be very proud of what it has achieved. Tell us what makes the Banega Swasth India campaign unique and special compared to other public health initiatives in India.
At Reckitt, we are immensely proud of the fact that Banega Swasth India is one of the longest running health campaigns, going strong for over a decade. It's been a brilliant partnership between our most trusted health and hygiene brand, Dettol, in partnership with one of the most trusted news channels, NDTV. Together, over the years, we have achieved a huge number of successes, and I hope you are all as proud as we are at Reckitt that these will make meaningful impact in the lives of people right across India. Overall, school absenteeism has been reduced by nearly 40%. Children are reporting feeling happier, healthier, and more confident. Dettol Banega Swasth India scored 93.6% on the Student Happiness Index, and we all know that they can be a hard audience to please. 93% of teachers confirmed the Dettol hygiene curriculum was accessible, even for kids with slower learning outcomes, which is fundamental to the idea that no one is left behind. The thing we are most proud of, from our starting point of 1,500 schools, is that we're now reaching more than 1 million. That's incredible. But what I think really sets Banega Swasth India apart is our emphasis on public participation. We have taken hygiene education to millions of children across the country, and we know those children take that knowledge back to their homes, their families, and their communities, further spreading the reach of these important messages. Our recent transition to focus on a healthier India meant this campaign embraced a broader and more holistic vision: one health, one planet, one future, focused on one world hygiene. It was the right thing to do and will continue to evolve as the needs of the people we serve change. The campaign has received recognition and awards from 2 presidents of India, and we are enormously grateful for the ongoing support of the Indian government. Many of you here today have been part of this campaign for years, and we also send our thanks to the Dalai Lama, Nobel laureates, Oscar winners, and vice presidents, ministers, celebrities, teachers, and parents and other leaders who have lent us your time, support, and your expertise. We could not have done this without you, and the success of this program is all of ours to share.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Litton. You have been talking about the impact and most importantly, what you said about the children. So please stay with us. We are going to come back to you a little later this morning. We are now heading into a very short break, but please don't go away because you don't want to miss what's coming up, a high voltage performance to get you all off your seats. So don't go away. Stay tuned on NDTV Dettol Banega Swasth India.
In a world of shifting power dynamics, India stands tall as a global force. Join us at the NDTV World Summit 2024, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi will unveil his transformative vision for the India century. Be a part of a summit of thought leaders and visionaries, shaping the world's future. NDTV World Summit, October 21st and 22nd on the NDTV network.
New day, new show, a new experience.
Start your day with the news, not views.
We bring you stories that matter
and impact your life.
News that informs and keeps you ahead. From Maximum City, Mumbai,
to the seat of power, Delhi,
NDTV brings you the best breakfast show.
Breakfast news on NDTV, 8 a.m. every day.
I've been reporting on all issues, big and small, from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
India's IT capital is always buzz. It's literally a city that never sleeps. And I keep you ahead on all the Bengaluru buzz.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
TV app, news that matters to you.
sorrow, injuries, displacement, and this is all what we are witnessing here in Lebanon's capital, Beirut. Civilians from the southern part of Lebanon who have been forced to leave their homes, not knowing what lies ahead for their future in Lebanon.
You know, not coming from a lot of money, not knowing the language, moving to a really big city like London, and also a massive university like Cambridge. So what was that experience like?
You know, it was a dramatic change. I went from a loving home, a little kind of warm, caring, to a college that looked so gothic, where I lived in a tiny room, and Deepika, I had to feed shillings into the heater to keep it warm. I had to walk a mile, it seemed, to go to the bathroom in these cold corridors. So it was a very, very different existence. But what I absolutely loved was the Cambridge Union. The Cambridge Union is a debating society. And I loved seeing people's hearts and minds being moved by words and learning to debate. And when I started speaking, I was ridiculed because I had this very heavy accent. And so it was really building grit and resilience and not letting the naysayers get me down. And gradually, actually, standing for election for the standing committee, then secretary, then vice president, and then becoming president of the union, which was a pretty kind of big moment in my life because part of being president means you organize a debate around a topic you care about, and mine was the changing role of women. And the debate was televised, and an English publisher saw the debate and asked me if I would write a book on the views I expressed in the debate. And I wrote back, I can't write. And he wrote back, can you have lunch? And he took me to lunch and offered me a modest advance to be able to take a year, write the book. And so at the age of 23, I had my first book published. And amazingly, it was translated in 36 languages and did really well. I studied economics. I haven't done very much with my degree. And you know, Deepika, it was kind of a hard moment. I felt like I was having a midlife crisis in my early 20s because suddenly I was financially independent. Yep. I had a career I had not expected as a writer. And I was asking the question, is that all there is? And all my life, there was that spiritual sense that there is more to life than just our material success. And so that was a moment for me to go deeper.
What prompted you to then move from the UK to the US?
There is one concept I learned that still guides me, which is the concept of opportunity cost. Like that every time you decide to do something, you are foregoing doing something else. Yes. So kind of making sure this is what you really want to do. So basically I left and moved to New York because a man wouldn't marry me, and it turned out to be the best thing I did in my life. All the good things that happened after that, my children, my books, the Huffington Post, Thrive Global. I say to people, happened because of something bad. And it's also so true in our lives. Sometimes the things that go wrong open doors. Yes. For things that go spectacularly right. Don't you find that?
I also feel like you really need to be patient in that process. And all the good things that come out of some of the bad things that happen in our life, you don't necessarily realize in that moment. But as you sort of power through and, and time goes by, and then, I think it's then when you look back at your journey or at your life and you reflect and you realize, wow, that opportunity actually forced me and pushed me towards doing something that you'd probably never thought of or imagined.
Absolutely.
Do you think the Huffington Post would have happened if you didn't make that shift?
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. And even marrying a man called Michael Huffington.
Correct.
Because my maiden name is Arianna Stasinopoulos, and Stasinopoulos Post does not sound as good, right? So I love what you said, that so often, especially if you're a type A personality and like to make things happen, you think you make everything happen.
Correct.
But you don't. When I look back at my life, so many good things that happened, I didn't make happen. They came to me, and I was open to them. I mean, like being asked to write a book. It wasn't my idea.
Correct.
Sure, I ended up doing the work and writing it, but it was an opportunity that came to me. So I have a little saying on my desk that's life is a dance between making it happen and letting it happen. And that's also what you said, Deepika, about patience.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to be patient for things to marinate and come to fruition.
So what are some of the challenges that you probably experienced, as you set up or at the, beginning of your Huffington Post journey?
So a lot of challenges, and I'm so happy you're asking me about that, because so often when people succeed, we don't talk as much about the failures and the challenges. I remember the first day we launched the Huffington Post. I remember one of the reviews, Deepika, I've learned it by heart. It said, the Huffington Post is an unsurvivable failure. It is the movie equivalent of Gigli, Ishtar, and Heaven's Gate all rolled into one. Now, in case you're not clear, these were all major flops. And of course, that was pretty awful on day one. A year later, the same writer sent me an email and said, I was wrong. The Huffington Post has become an indispensable part of the internet, and I'd like to write for you. And I said, great, I would love you to write for us, because one of the things I learned from my mother early on is that holding grudges and resentments is the worst thing you can do.
Absolutely.
So I really like to move through life as much as possible, releasing any grudges and forgiving myself, first of all. I think sometimes the hardest thing is for us to forgive ourselves for mistakes we make.
Yep.
And then forgiving others so that we don't carry that burden with us.
No, that's so well said. I think very often we hold on to things, and it's absolutely, I think, normal and human to feel pain, to feel anger, to feel some of these extreme emotions or emotions that, and learning from that experience, or learning from that and sort of moving on. I had a similar experience when, my debut movie released, Om Shanti Om, in 2007. And I remember exactly like your journey. I remember one bad, of course there were quite a few bad reviews, but I specifically remember this one bad review. And I think that sort of pushed me and prompted me to work on myself and it spoke about my accent, it spoke about my diction, it spoke about my talent and my capabilities. And I think negativity sometimes is a good thing. It's what you make of it, right? And I think that both of us in our situation, if I may say so myself, could have been, upset or, and not to say that it wouldn't have upset you, but I think the larger picture is, what do you do with that criticism? How do you use it positively? How do you work on yourself? And also realize that it's not going to happen overnight. You're going to have to put in the work and be patient and then eventually come out on the other side. And, I think like you said, the fact that that journalist eventually started,
writing for us.
Writing for you is probably one of your biggest victories, and testament to your resilience.
Well, I love what you said, because so often people are devastated by naysayers, by bad reviews, and it stops them. Or you can take it in. If there is anything to learn from it, you learn from it. Deepika, I found the hardest thing in my life was my own self-criticism. That voice in my head that puts me down and focuses on my mistakes, real or imaginary. In fact, I call that voice the obnoxious roommate living in my head. And I've learned through many years to actually not be so influenced by that voice. In fact, one of the microsteps we have at Thrive, microsteps are small, little, incremental steps that lead to healthier habits. One of them is to schedule worry time. So when that voice says, for example, the way you answered that question that Deepika had wasn't good, people wouldn't understand what you said or something, I can say to that voice, we have worry time scheduled on Thursday at 2 p.m. So let's handle it then. And it's amazing how it works.
Yeah.
And it's based actually on the neuroscience that we don't have to address something right now so that we can move back in the present and not let our mind move into rumination, which also is one of the mental health problems.
Yes.
If we ruminate and focus on the negative,
right,
it's so much easier to get depressed or anxious.
I remember very clearly when we met and you spoke about that moment when, you were overworked and there was a day when you collapsed.
Yes.
What was that moment?
So it was 2 years into building the Huffington Post. I was the divorced mother of 2 little girls. And I had bought Deepika into the collective delusion that in order to succeed, to be a super founder and a super mom, I didn't have the luxury to take care of myself. So literally, I didn't sleep a lot, I didn't exercise, I ate whatever was there, I literally put myself last. And one morning, I was at my desk and I felt cold and I got up to go get a sweater and I collapsed and I hit my head on my desk, broke my cheekbone, and that was the beginning of a journey. First of all, to find out what was wrong with me.
Right.
When you suddenly collapse, they put you through echocardiograms and MRIs to see, did I have a brain tumor? Did I have a heart defect? What happened? And I was diagnosed with burnout. And at the time, burnout was not a term that was much in use. And it was really something that completely changed my life, because I learned through all my studies at the time that it wasn't just my problem, that it was a global epidemic. that people all around the world were suffering from burnout.
Yeah.
And I wanted to understand, Deepika, why? Why were so many people believing that that was the way to be most productive?
Yeah.
And, you know, it goes back to the first industrial revolution when we started revering machines, and after machines, software. And the goal with machines and software is to minimize downtime.
Right.
But the human operating system is different. Downtime is a feature, not a bug. So we have to learn that, in fact, to be most productive,
you need downtime.
We need that downtime. We need recovery time.
Absolutely.
And we see that with athletes. I mean, you started life as an athlete.
Absolutely.
You know that recovery is part of peak performance.
Yep. You feel like for someone who actually makes time for themselves or takes a weekend off is someone who's not driven, right?
Yes.
Which I find so bizarre. You know, I think when people have boundaries, when they have, you know, when they have a certain structure, and of course everyone's output level is different, right? And you know, maybe 4 hours for you is too many hours for me, and maybe 8 hours for someone else is, you know. So I think, of course, it, you know, it varies from individual to individual. But I think this notion, and I think things have started to change now to some extent. Yes. Post-COVID, and you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's still this sort of, if someone, you know, needs downtime or time for themselves, or you know, takes a weekend off, it's like this person is not motivated, not driven. Okay, now let's look for someone who's willing to burn the midnight oil, and that person's great because they're like so hardworking and so committed and so dedicated. Whereas what you said is absolutely right, and I think for me at least it comes from being an athlete that you need your rest, you need your recovery, you in fact need that to be able to perform better.
Exactly.
And work sharper, and you know, all of those things.
We learn so much from athletes.
Yeah.
And again, you know, we have a lot of athletes who invested in Thrive and are good friends, and they talk often about how it's not just your physical performance. I mean, I remember talking to Andrew Gudala, who said it's also when I'm sleep deprived or have eaten junk and go to play, if I make a mistake, and you always make mistakes in the course of a game, I can't let it go. So I carry it with me to the next moment.
Correct.
And that makes you much less effective. It becomes like a vicious cycle. So both physically and mentally, you are not at your best.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what we are learning now, Deepika. And in your work with mental health, which is so important, we see that these 5 key behaviors that we'll talk about more when we talk about Thrive, but these 5 key behaviors of sleep, food, movement, stress management, and connection are central, not just for our physical health, but for our mental health.
Absolutely.
I mean, I know when I'm sleep deprived, I'm much more emotionally reactive.
Yes.
Like a challenge, a problem is going to affect me much more.
Yeah.
And that, of course, affects your mental health.
Absolutely. And also, yeah, I think just that, you know, when you're sleep deprived or when you're burnt out, just the decisions that you make. And I think sometimes I can actually feel it. Like I know on particular days when I'm feeling stressed or I'm feeling, you know, burnt out because I haven't slept enough or, you know, practiced my self-care rituals, or, you know, I can tell that my decision making is getting affected to some extent.
Yes.
How did your burnout experience prompt you to set up Thrive Global?
Okay, well, it took a while. The first thing I did was I started covering these issues at the Huffington Post. So we would cover sleep and stress and connection, all these issues. And I wrote 2 books on the subject, Thrive and the Sleep Revolution. Thrive was a more autobiographical book about how, in order to live life so that we thrive and don't just survive, we need to go beyond defining success as money and status/power, and include what I call the third metric of success, which is our health and well-being, our capacity to connect with our wisdom and our intuition, our capacity to be connected to the wonder and mystery of life, and to give back. So that's what a complete good life. And that's why one of the problems with modern life is that we feel we are going to be more productive if we're multitasking. And multitasking is the opposite of mindful.
Yes.
Instead of being really present.
Correct.
We think, oh, I'm going to do this and this at the same time, and we do neither really well, and we lose that mindfulness. But to go back to your question, so how did I go from collapsing to Thrive Global? So after I wrote these 2 books, and I was on book tour for my book on sleep, The Sleep Revolution, I realized that it wasn't enough to raise awareness. I wanted to help people change behaviors. And you can continue raising awareness through books and through a media company like the Huffington Post, but I wanted to create a behavior change technology company to help people adopt these healthier habits. And to do that, I had to leave the Huffington Post, which typically I never thought I would leave. It was like a third child, and launch a new company and start again.
All over again, yes.
Yes, and it was a very tough decision. I remember talking to Sheryl Sandberg and saying to her, I made a list of pros and cons, and she said to me, tear up your list, take a deep breath and jump.
Yeah.
You're not going to figure it out intellectually. Your heart tells you want to do that.
Absolutely.
And so I made that jump, and it was amazing. It was 2016, so it's now 7 years. And it's been an incredible journey.
Everything that you've said to me today is something that I resonate with. It's not about making a huge, drastic change overnight. It's about starting small, and bringing about those little changes from maybe a different lifestyle that one has had, to now making those small little changes so that you can be consistent with it. And it becomes a part of your lifestyle. Because a lot of times, I think whether it's nutrition or exercise, we take on something that is so not sustainable. There's a trigger, and then you do something that prompts you to do something about it, but you do it for 2 months and 3 months, and then you slip back into an old habit. But I think to be able to bring about small changes and be able to be consistent with it, so that it eventually becomes a part of you and your lifestyle, are really some of the things.
That is absolutely the key. And we have an amazing board of scientific advisors working on behavior change. And Deepika, it's so important for everyone to know that small, tiny daily changes lead to sustainable, healthy habits.
Absolutely.
Because most people now think, I'm going to make New Year resolutions, I'm going to give up all sugar.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to go to the gym for an hour every day. And people may do it for 2 to 3 weeks, and then they abandon it.
Correct.
And they feel defeated. So it's harder to get back on the horse and and do what's best for your health. So that's why we call these micro steps, and we have thousands at Thrive, too small to fail. Really tiny, that become healthier habits. And given that 45% of our life is based on our habits.
Yes.
When something becomes a habit, it becomes more automatic.
Correct.
And another thing that I love about our journeys is that both you and I, when we learn something for ourselves, we want to spread the word out. It's not enough to just change our lives.
Yeah.
We want to go out there and shout it from the rooftop and help others. And I love that about you, because you could have learned things for yourself on your mental health journey, but no, you wanted to go ahead and spread the word and help others who were reluctant to speak about their journey, but who admired you to learn from your own experience. I love that. I think
Thank you.
That's what motivates us, and definitely that's what made me want to start Thrive, the company, and constantly keep improving what we are bringing to the world.
Yes.
And you know, Deepika, one of my favorite things about changing habits is what is known as habit stacking. Like if there is something you do every day, as we all brush our teeth, you can stack another habit on it, remembering 3 things you are grateful for. Because gratitude is absolutely magical.
Yes.
Gratitude and anxiety cannot coexist.
Yes.
So if you're brushing your teeth, instead of doing it mechanically, I remember, 3 things I'm grateful for this day. And they don't have to be big things. It can be my iced coffee. It can be, a gardenia I saw this morning in my garden. Little things that connect us with what we love.
So what are some of those little changes that you've brought about?
Yes, so my absolute favorite micro step was to pick a time at the end of the day that I consider the end of my working day. Because honestly, Deepika, I'm sure you and I and most people watching don't have a real end to their working day, right? We could stay up all night texting and handling things. We have to declare an end. And I declare an end by turning off my phone and charging it outside my bedroom. Now, that may seem incredibly hard for people. Don't worry about it. Start with 1 night a week. And we have a mental health crisis among young people.
Yes.
And part of the reason is because they sleep with their phones. And instead of sleeping, they TikTok or Snap or whatever. So they wake up exhausted.
Correct.
And therefore more likely to become anxious or depressed.
I'm sure people are wondering, and I'm going to ask you this question. So say you have this switch off time, and then say maybe it's 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. or something. And then you have this thought, right? And this urge to sort of, this urge to message that person or send that email out because you feel like you're going to forget that task.
Forget it. Very easy. You have a little notepad.
There you go. Yeah.
With a pen by your bed, and you write down, and then in the morning you act on it. But another micro step around sleep, Deepika, is that I do every night. I have a hot bath or a hot shower before I get into bed. It's not for cleanliness. It's to begin to slow down my brain.
Correct.
Because what happens often is we are physically exhausted, so we fall asleep, but then our brain hasn't really slowed down, so it wakes us up in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And it's the most unproductive time when the brain goes over what we have to do, a project, a problem. And that's why preparation for sleep.
Correct.
And I only read things in bed that have nothing to do with work and physical books, not screens.
Yes.
So you basically move into another mode. If you think of it, our daily lives are about control, like making things happen. Life, when we sleep, is about surrender. And so we need to move to a different modality.
Correct. So you put your phone away, it's in another, and when you said it sleeps in its bed, it has its own bed for everyone that's watching. It has its own bed that's not in your bedroom, that's outside.
Outside.
And a warm shower, a hot shower. For reading, yes, a lot of people read, off digital screens, but I think going back to the traditional sort of reading, a good old book.
I love, cuddling up with a real book. I love that.
Dimming the lights maybe, just so that your brain and body starts adapting to, a different, like you said, your brain starts telling you that it's now time to wind down.
Well, try and make your bedroom as dark as possible when you sleep. When I travel, Deepika, there are always these blinking lights in hotels. The TV has a blinking light, the smoke alarm has a blinking light. I travel with a black electric tape, and I go around and cover all these blinking lights.
Yeah.
And also, if you wake up in the middle of the night, there is something I love called box breathing.
Yes.
And Navy SEALs in the States, practice it to reduce stress. And, I feel strange talking about breathing to you because, India, of course, is the birthplace
of breathwork,
of breathing and the power of breathing and the superpower of breathing. But you have exported it around the world, and box breathing is basically inhale to the count of 4, pausing to the count of 4, exhaling to the count of 4, pausing to the count of 4. And it's kind of amazing how it moves us from the sympathetic to the parasympathetic nervous system.
Correct. How do you feel like you're most productive? When you, at the end of the day, when you're like, Arianna, this was a lovely, productive day. So how do you, what are the things that you do to ensure that you feel like you've had a productive day?
Well, for me, Deepika, the first thing is to be clear about my priorities. Like, what do I want to prioritize? Because it's so easy to start doing things that are not really important but are right in front of you, or to respond to incoming emails, texts, WhatsApps. So I find I have a productive day when I have clarity about my intention for the day. What is it that I want to achieve that day?
For that day, correct.
And then be able to set boundaries and say no to things that would get in the way.
Yep.
And because if you say yes to everything, you are going to miss out on what's the most important. And the most important may be going to your child's dance recital. It doesn't all have to be around work.
True.
It can be, anything that day has to be completed.
True.
But also another thing is that I have used habit stacking to integrate exercise in my everyday by never ever watching a show or a movie except on my treadmill or on my bike.
Really?
I've trained myself, yes, to actually only watch something I want to watch when I'm exercising. And it's kind of amazing. Like, if I'm watching a series I may end up being on my treadmill for 2.5 hours because I want to see the next episode and the next episode. So instead of binge watching on my couch, I binge watch on my treadmill.
But then you're not practicing mindfulness.
Oh, no. Mindfulness for me is when you are doing two mental things at once.
Right, okay. Understood.
Things that require, but the one here is physical and the other is mental.
Okay.
The last time my mother was angry at me, for example, when she saw me talking to one of my children and opening my mail at the same time.
Understood. Okay, that makes sense. Arianna, one of the initiatives at Thrive Global is this thing called Reset. Tell us about what Reset is.
So, we talked about stress management as one of the 5 behaviors we need to manage. And stress is unavoidable. Like there is no life that doesn't have stress. But cumulative stress is avoidable. So we've created this 60-second resets based on the neuroscience that it takes 60 to 90 seconds to move us from the sympathetic to the parasympathetic nervous system.
Right.
I'd love to show mine, and you'll see that at the moment when you get some bad news or you're feeling exhausted and stressed out, you can play this, and in 60 seconds, you can be reminded of what you love about your life. So you'll see in mine pictures of my children, quotes I love, and also music.
Okay. We'd love to see your Reset video, if that's possible.
Wonderful. Yes, let's play it.
How lovely. I think that's so lovely because I think whenever you feel either stressed or burnt out or just not grounded, I feel like something like this with just lovely, it's the music and visuals that obviously you've taken time to put together, visuals that mean something to you. And when the world around you feels like it's in a flux, I think something like this and I love the fact that it says inhale and exhale. It just reminds you the basics of life, which is just to breathe in and out. And I think it helps you feel grounded again, centered and rooted.
Exactly, grounded and rooted. I love that. And what I love is that it takes 60 seconds.
It takes only 60 seconds, yeah.
Because often you can tell people to start meditating and they can say, I don't have 20 minutes.
Correct.
But nobody's going to tell you, I don't have 60 seconds to breathe consciously or to play a reset or to set my intention for the day. Something that is mindful but doesn't take a lot of time so that you build that muscle.
Finally, I just wanted to wrap by asking you, your message to all the young people out there who, are now navigating this sort of fast-paced life. What is your message to all of them?
So, Deepika, my message is to remember that we all have in us a place of wisdom, peace, strength, resilience. We all have it. It's like our birthright, that divine spark, if you want. Most of the time, we are disconnected from it. But we have the ability to reconnect quickly with it again and again and again during the day.
Yeah.
And when we connect with that, we really get that strength to go through life no matter what life brings our way, and also to find joy and love in what we're doing. So I feel this is an amazing moment that we are having this conversation and that we can use our own experience, yours, mine, the lessons we learned.
Yes.
To help people know that just by integrating these small steps every day, we can dramatically affect both our physical and our mental health.
Love.
So my final message is, you know how we always say onward, upward?
Yeah.
Well, I like to say onward, upward, and inward. Because when we go inward, the onward and upward journey becomes both easier and more effective, because ultimately the most important frontier for me is not outer space, it's inner space.
That's so well said. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Deepika. Thank you for this wonderful conversation, and thank you for everything you are doing in the world.
No, not at all. Thank you so much. And as I'd expected, I've taken away so much from you, as I have always been a huge admirer of all of the work that you've done. Thank you for your time. There's so much to take away from this conversation. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Deepika.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sorrow, injuries, displacement, and this is all what we are witnessing here in Lebanon's capital, Beirut. Civilians from the southern part of Lebanon who have been forced to leave their homes, not knowing what lies ahead for their future in Lebanon.
In a world of shifting power dynamics, India stands tall as a global force. Join us at the NDTV World Summit 2024, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi will unveil his transformative vision for the India century. Be a part of a summit of thought leaders and visionaries, shaping the world's future. NDTV World Summit, October 21st and 22nd on the NDTV network.
New day, new show, a new experience.
Start your day with the news, not views.
We bring you stories that matter
and impact your life.
News that informs and keeps you ahead.
From Maximum City, Mumbai,
to the seat of power, Delhi,
NDTV brings you the best breakfast show.
breakfast news on NDTV, 8 a.m. every day.
I've been reporting on all issues, big and small, from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital, Mumbai.
India's IT capital is always buzz. It's literally a city that never sleeps. And I keep you ahead on all the Bengaluru buzz.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
Shaping the world's future. NDTV World Summit, October 21st and 22nd on the NDTV network.
New day, new show, a new experience.
Start your day with the news, not views.
We bring you stories that matter
and impact your life.
News that informs and keeps you ahead.
From Maximum City, Mumbai,
to the seat of power, Delhi,
NDTV brings you the best breakfast show.
breakfast news on NDTV, 8 a.m. every day.
I've been reporting on all issues, big and
Hello, and welcome. You're watching NDTV. I'm Vedant Agarwal. Coming up on the show, well, the focus very much on the Maharashtra law and order situation after the Baba Siddique murder. Of course, ahead of polls, a big political flashpoint between the Mahayuti and the Mahavikas Aghadi. We'll get you all the latest on that. But first up, the headlines. Top NCP leader Baba Siddique shot dead in Mumbai. 2 accused have been held in the Baba Siddique murder. Another on the run, says the police. A big NDTV exclusive on the Baba Siddique murder. Well, sources tell NDTV that the Bishnoi gang was linked to the murder. In fact, there was a death threat to Baba Siddique just 15 days back, as per sources. Security enhanced outside superstar Salman Khan's residence. Salman's security increased after the Baba Siddique murder. Well, not just a strong man, but Baba Siddique was also a Bollywood mediator. A Maha collapse of law and order, says the opposition in Maharashtra. This as the Mahavikas Aghadi targets a Mahayuti on the law and order situation right ahead of the assembly polls. And India eye a big win against injury-hit Australia in the Women's T20 World Cup. And our lead story this afternoon, well, a sensational murder in Maharashtra. Baba Siddique, one of the top NCP leaders and a political strongman in Maharashtra, who has been shot dead. In fact, he was shot dead inside his son Zeeshan's office, perhaps near his son Zeeshan's office. There were 3 rounds fired. Those bullets have been recovered by the police as well. And 2 key suspects have been detained by the police as well. Now, as per sources, there's also a Bishnoi gang link to the murder. That's important given the fact that, remember, Rohit Godara had said that anyone who is Salman Khan's friend is our enemy. So open gang war in a sense on the streets of Maharashtra, on the streets of Mumbai. Larger questions of law and order certainly being raised given the fact that there was a similar firing incident outside Salman Khan's residence just weeks back. And now Baba Siddique, who's not just a political strongman but also a Bollywood mediator, he has been shot dead in cold blood. Absolutely shocking there. In fact, there will be a straight funeral for Baba Siddique as well. Condolences pouring in from all, from across the political spectrum. In fact, the opposition has said that one must not politicize his death. Remember, he had joined Ajit Pawar's NCP just weeks back, but absolutely shocking there how he was murdered, and larger questions on law and order as well. In fact, the opposition is now cornering the Mahayuti government over law and order. Listen to all the reactions that have come in.
महाराष्ट्र में लॉ एंड ऑर्डर सिचुएशन पूरी ख़त्म हो गई है। महाराष्ट्र में ऐसे कभी हमने देखा नहीं था। जो राज्य मंत्री रह चुके हैं, जिनको Y+ ग्रेड की सुरक्षितता दी गई है, उनके ऊपर हमला होता है और वो मार के चले जाते हैं। ये बहुत दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है और महाराष्ट्र की पुलिस यंत्रणा के ऊपर बहुत बड़ा धब्बा है।
सीएम साहब भी इसके ऊपर उनका ध्यान दे रहे हैं, खुद होम मिनिस्टर भी दे रहे हैं और मेरा भी है, हमारे बाकी साथियों का भी है। और जल्द से जल्द पता चलेगा कि एग्जैक्ट ये सब करने का कारण क्या है, किसने ये सब सुपारी दी, किसने ये सब किया। इसके बारे में तुरंत नहीं, लेकिन 1-2 दिन में ही पता चलेगा, ऐसा मुझे विश्वास है। मेरी रात को देर से नरेंद्र जी के साथ भी बात हुई, चीफ मिनिस्टर के साथ भी बात हुई। उन्होंने बताया कि इसके पीछे कौन है, किसका हाथ है, ये हम ढूंढ के ही निकालेंगे।
हमने तो ओपनली बोला आपको, लॉ एंड ऑर्डर वहाँ पर ठीक नहीं है और वो लोग उनको मुझे जान को खतरा है बोल के तो ये बहुत बड़ा एक लैप्स है एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के तरफ से। वो ऐसे बम्बई जैसे एरिया में तो हमेशा पुलिस सतर्क रहना चाहिए।
देखिए काफ़ी दुखद घटना है। कल हम लोगों को जानकारी मिली इसकी कि उनकी हत्या कर दी गई है। इस दुख के घड़ी में उनके परिवार और परिजनों से हम लोग पूरी संवेदना है और दुख के घड़ी में उनके साथ खड़े हैं। चाहेंगे कि और भी एक आध जो अपराधी बचे हैं या इसका जो मास्टरमाइंड है वो जल्द से जल्द जो है पकड़ा जाए। और लेकिन आश्चर्य करने वाली बात है कि बॉम्बे जैसे इतने बड़े शहर में बांद्रा जैसे इलाकों में अगर हत्या हो रही है तो ये चिंताजनक है।
मुंबई पुलिस को मालूम था, वाई सिक्योरिटी दी गई थी, पुलिस को कहा गया था ये धमकियाँ आ रही हैं। पुलिस का काम यह है कि सिर्फ सिक्योरिटी दे दे और चुप बैठे। कहाँ से धमकियाँ आई, कौन दे रहा है? राजनीति तो बिल्कुल मुझे तो 1% भी राजनीति की शंका जो है मेरे मन में जो है वह नहीं है।
मुंबई में खुलेआम पब्लिक प्लेस पर जहाँ क्राउड है वहाँ पे भी आकर गैंगस्टर हो या ऐसे क्रिमिनल्स आके गोलियां चला रहे। क्या मुंबई और महाराष्ट्र यूपी और बिहार की तरफ जा रहा है या उसी रास्ते पर चल रहा है? लेके जाने का काम हो रहा है, ये डर हमें सताने लगा है। गृह मंत्री ने, होम मिनिस्टर ने राजीनामा तो कब का देना चाहिए था।
5 teams of police officials have been deployed in different parts of the country in order to find the absconding accused and get more information as far as the handler or the mastermind in this case is concerned. So at this point, 2 people arrested. They are being interrogated. They will be produced before the court any minute from now. More clarity once they are produced before the court as to what the conspiracy was, how it was planned, who are the other people who were involved, what were the specific instructions that were given to the shooters and so on. Third accused has also been identified by the police officials. He is called Shiva, and in fact we're also getting to know more details as far as Shiva is concerned, that he was in touch with both the accused and they had a meeting of sorts way before this incident. He worked as a scrap dealer in Pune. One of the accused of the 3 is a history sheeter with a case of murder registered against him. As far as the other 2 are concerned, police is still trying to ascertain whether there are any sort of cases registered against them. Yes, looks like a case of contract killing, looks like a case whereby they were lured to sort of make money after killing Baba Siddique, which is what happened. Very, very shocking incident, very brazen, happening in the middle of the city in Bandra East. Baba Siddique was leaving his office towards his residence when they shot at him multiple times. He was declared dead as soon as he was taken to the hospital. So yes, immediately after the incident, of course, 2 people arrested. They are very young, 20s, in their early 20s, people from Haryana as well as UP. Looks like there is some sort of link to Lawrence Bishnoi. Again, that is something that is still being ascertained.
Continues to be with us. So Anuj, this is interesting because we have seen the Mahavikas Aghadi targeting the Mahayuti government over various issues. Of course, the Maratha reservation is a big issue. Also corruption, women's safety, farmer distress. So clearly in their bid to set the poll agenda much before the Election Commission announces the dates.
Yes, indeed. This happens just a few days, if not a few hours before the model code of conduct is officially implemented here in the state. Only today morning it was announced that the 3 heads of the 3 major parties in Mahavikas Aghadi, Shiv Sena, UBT, NCP, Sharad Pawar faction and Congress led by Nana Patole will take a press conference. But the reason for it, of course, wasn't clear. But it is great timing as far as Mahavikas Aghadi is concerned, because ever since last night when the Baba Siddique incident took place, we're seeing that there are criticism coming through towards the government from different angles, from different civic societies and from different political avenues as well, not necessarily from the opposition only. And that has put the government in some sort of a murky situation. And seizing on that opportunity, the opposition today made public what they call a panchanama or a charge sheet, what can also be called as a white paper, which is a 4 8-page long document in which they've listed several, several activities undertaken by the government and have alleged that there has been an immense amount of corruption. It starts with the fall of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj statue, in the Konkan region of Maharashtra a few months ago, and then lists down several things. We see that a lot of recent happenings have been mentioned there, be it the happenings in Badlapur, be it the mention about the farmers, the low income of the farmers, or more importantly about how there have been paper leaks which have affected education and employment and has impacted the youth of this particular state. Now, what the Mahavikas Aghadi is trying to do is that right before the implementation of MCC takes place, they're trying to make this particular paper public just to set the foundation right before the election dates come in.
All right, Anuj, thanks very much for getting us the latest there. Shaina, NC of the BJP is also live with us on the phone line. Shaina, these are all very emotive issues, as many would say, that the Mahavikas Aghadi has picked up. Do you see the Mahayuti cornered in a sense after, the unimpressive Lok Sabha performance, and now issues like law and order, corruption, all of these becoming the focus?
Absolutely unsubstantiated, baseless allegations. The Mahavinash Aghadi, as we'd like to call them, have done nothing but being corrupt during their time. So they think everyone else is going to be like them. The state government has undertaken so many initiatives to upgrade, for example, the education system, slashing school fees by 15%, resulting in over 3,500 professors being given all kinds of jobs. You talk about industry and economy. You know that the current situation is that the gross state domestic product was estimated at 38 trillion in 2023-24. The GSDP of the state increased by 5.88% from, if you take even a comparison from 2015 to 2024. Mumbai, as a capital and a financial hub, the city is a home to global banking. You look at the infrastructure, the coastal roads, the Nava Seva link, the Atal Setu, the metro. You take Pune as an example. Look at the kind of industry and internal trade which one has seen. Look at the FDI inflow. If you just look at basic statistics which are in the public domain, the highest FDI reception, the total exports from the state has been at an all-time high in 2024. So what are they talking about? They don't understand the basics of economy. They don't understand how many industries, whether it's an IT, IITs, electronic, captive business,
right.
This has all been seen here.
Yeah, I think that those are fair points you're making there, Shaina, though of course, larger issues of law and order and farmer distress, very, very real, and perhaps this is Aghadi's bid to cash in on those very emotive issues. As I said, this of course, as Baba Siddique's murder has brought in focus the law and order collapse, as it were, back in focus yet again. With that, we'll take a short break now, but news continues right here on NDTV.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola Edge 50 Pro, world's first AI-powered pro-grade camera.
है बिकॉज हमारा एक अलग ह्यूमन एंगल होता है, हमारा एक अलग ह्यूमन टच होता है. What do you have to say about this? What are your responses? Please let me know. You know the address. It's tg@ndtv.com. But अभी let's move ahead and talk to an expert जो कि इस फील्ड के बारे में काफ़ी बेहतर जानते हैं, and उनसे हम डिस्कस करते हैं about this assistive technology and how exactly we see its growth all around us.
My name is P.V. Madhusudan Rao.
मेरा नाम पीयूष चांदना है.
I am currently a faculty at Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi, in the Department of Mechanical Engineering and the Department of Design.
मैं Assistive लैब में लीड साइंटिस्ट हूँ और
नेशनल सेंटर फॉर असिस्टिव हेल्थ टेक्नोलॉजीज का प्रोग्राम कोऑर्डिनेटर हूँ।
One of my areas of work is development of assistive technologies, particularly for people with visual impairment and blindness. And पिछले 20 साल से we are actually developing products, particularly मोबिलिटी के लिए और एजुकेशन के लिए टू एम्पावर पीपल। असिस्टिव टेक्नोलॉजी जो है एक बहुत बड़ा ब्रॉड टर्म है।
जब मैं असिस्टिव टेक्नोलॉजी बोलता हूँ, इट कैन बी वेरी वेरी सिंपल, जस्ट लाइक समथिंग कि यू ड्रॉ ऑन अ पेपर एंड पेपर गेट्स एम्बॉस्ड, रेज्ड हो जाता है, तो आप रेज्ड चीज़ को टच करके यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इट इज़, तो आपको डायग्राम समझ में आ जाता है। और इट कैन बी वेरी हाई एंड, जो ये डायग्राम है इसकी डिस्क्रिप्शन एआई के थ्रू ऑटोमेटिकली जनरेट हो जाएगी और वो पूरा डायग्राम मैं एक टेक्स्ट डिस्क्रिप्शन के थ्रू ईजिली लिसन कर पाऊंगा।
सबसे बड़ा असिस्टिव टेक्नोलॉजी जो आजकल दुनिया में है वो है मोबाइल फोन।
To enable inclusion, you need right tools and solutions. And if they are there, then they will redefine what a person can do or cannot do. So it's about changing the definition of what capability a person has. Suppose you want to drill a hole in the wall. If you don't have a drill machine, then it's a very tedious task. But as soon as you get the drill machine, that's a 1 second task. So the same role is of assistive technology.
अगर assistive technology का अगर मुझे examples लेना होगा, let's take for example visual disability का। एक टाइम था जब लोग जो है टेक्स्ट को एक्सेस कर पाते थे, टेक्स्ट टू स्पीच एंड टेक्स्ट टू ब्रेल वो पॉसिबिलिटी था, बट पिक्चर्स को एक्सेस नहीं कर पाते थे।
हाउ विल यू अंडरस्टैंड अ पाइथागोरस थ्योरम विदाउट लुकिंग एट द डायग्राम?
अब जो है टैक्टाइल डायग्राम्स, जिन्हें हम डायग्राम्स विच वी कैन टच कहते हैं, उसके द्वारा काफ़ी जो पिक्टोरियल कंटेंट है उसको भी एक टैक्टाइल रूट से जो है एक्सेसिबिलिटी कर सकते हैं।
If you have the tactile one, then you just touch and understand, and the concept is in your mind forever.
So this is एक बिग चेंज है। अगर लोगों को साइंस पढ़ना है या साइंस सब्जेक्ट्स पढ़ना है, जैसे एनाटॉमी या ट्रिग्नोमेट्री, बिना डायग्राम्स के आप सीख नहीं सकते, तो एक टैक्टाइल डायग्राम द्वारा वो पॉसिबिलिटी है।
There was a girl in Mumbai. She was low vision, partial vision था उनका। Her challenge was कि now lot of malls have these glass doors, बड़े बड़े entrance होते हैं and you have glass doors on that. So it's very difficult to figure it out with the partial vision. So you get to know only after colliding with the glass door. But if you have this sort of technology, then this problem is solved in seconds. As soon as you are closer to a glass door, your cane will vibrate and vibrations will tell you how far is that obstacle, and you become cautious and you avoid the collision.
अगर मुझे एक example for hearing लेना है, तो फॉर एग्जाम्पल स्पीच टू टेक्स्ट जो है इन वेरियस फॉर्म्स इज़ हेल्पिंग। एक तो मोबाइल में इट इज़ ऑलरेडी अवेलेबल एज अ फ्री, बट देर आर ऑल्सो प्रोडक्ट्स, फॉर एग्जाम्पल देर आर स्पेशल स्पेक्टिकल्स जो अवेलेबल है। इसमें जैसे हम आप बात कर रहे हैं, तो जो चीज़ें बोली जा रही है वही जो है टेक्स्ट के रूप में आपके ग्लासेस पे आते हैं। मतलब आप लोगों को देख भी पा रहे हैं, बट एट द सेम टाइम जो वो कह रहे हैं वो पढ़ भी पा रहे हैं। तो ये एक बहुत बड़ा इम्पॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट है। सिमिलरली अगर हम लोकोमोटर डिसेबिलिटी का ले, तो बहुत सारे एक्सोस्केलेटन्स एक्सेट्रा जो है उसमें काफ़ी डेवलपमेंट हुआ है, एंड पर्टिकुलरली विथ ब्रेन मशीन इंटरफेस की वजह से ये एक्सोस्केलेटन्स भी जो है दे हैव बिकम रियली पावरफुल। वो एक बड़ा एग्जाम्पल है। सिमिलरली डेवलपमेंट्स जो है लर्निंग डिसेबिलिटी में एंड इंटेलेक्चुअल डिसेबिलिटीज़ में, टेक्नोलॉजी हैज़ रियली पेनिट्रेटेड, एंड आई थिंक फ्यूचर में इसके बेनिफिट्स जो है कई लोगों तक पहुंचेंगे।
असिस्टिव टेक्नोलॉजी ना बहुत बार बहुत बेसिक भी हो सकती है, और वो ऐसी चीज़ भी हो सकती है जो हर पर्सन के लिए मीनिंगफुल हो, not only for a person with disability.
It is also used by people such as elderly. In fact, almost 1/3 of the world जो है assistive technologies use करता है। For example, अगर हम spectacle देखें जो normal कई लोग पहनते हैं, वो भी एक assistive technology है, क्योंकि वो एक particular functional impairment को correct करने के लिए होता है। एंड जब भी कोई disability में एक sense चला जाता है, तो हम बाकी 4 सेंस से उसको सब्सटीट्यूट करते हैं, जिसे हमें सेंसरी सब्सटीट्यूशन कहते हैं। जैसे जैसे टेक्नोलॉजी प्रोग्रेस कर रहा है तो असिस्टिव टेक्नोलॉजी का दायरा भी बढ़ रहा है एंड बहुत सारे जो फ्यूचर में असिस्टिव टेक्नोलॉजीज आएंगे वो ये भी हो सकता है कि काफ़ी जो है ब्रेन लेवल इम्प्लांट के साथ काम करे एंड सेंसरी सब्सटीट्यूशन काफ़ी अच्छी तरीके से कहे। और दूसरा ये है कि आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस की वजह से भी जो नॉर्मल डेटा प्रोसेसिंग और जो डेटा इंटेलिजेंस चाहिए असिस्टिव टेक्नोलॉजीज़ में, अब वो भी एक पॉसिबल हो सका।
फॉर AI in this field, we are already developing number of solutions. So they are typically in the direction of making images accessible. So you just give GPT certain instructions to assume a role of a image describer, and then the GPT will describe the images for you. So other part is like, how would a blind person do coding? So if they want to become data analysts or data scientists, then that is possible now. Slowly students have started taking up. There are students, there are team members in our team who do coding in Python and everything. So there we are using the power of AI to teach a student where he has gone wrong and how that can be corrected.
जब भी हम असिस्टिव टेक्नोलॉजी यूज़ करते हैं तो इट जनरेट्स लॉट ऑफ डेटा एंड जहाँ डेटा है देयर इज़ अ लॉट ऑफ स्कोप फॉर आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस, क्योंकि डेटा को कॉन्टेक्चुअल बनाने में AI का एक बहुत बड़ा रोल है एंड वहाँ जो है वी आर ऑलरेडी सीइंग सम ऑफ द असिस्टिव टेक्नोलॉजीज विच आर यूजिंग AI इन अ बिग वे to give a much better experience to people otherwise which was not possible. As we go along, for example, if I take virtual reality जो है अभी largely it's based on concept of a visual creativity or you can say visual inputs जो होते हैं, but जो new VR systems आ रहे उसमें विजन के अलावा आपका टच और टैक्टाइल सेंसर्स भी आ रहे हैं। सो जैसे जैसे न्यू सेंसर्स इंटीग्रेट हो रहे हैं VR के साथ, तो इसका बेनिफिट जो है पीपल विद डिसेबिलिटीज़ तक भी पहुंचेगा।
टेक्नोलॉजी तो डेफिनेटली इट्स अ ग्रेट यूनिफायर। 2 डायरेक्शंस आई वुड से फॉर टेक। वन इज कि हाई टेक सॉल्यूशंस,
न्यू जनरेशन ऑफ असिस्टिव टेक्नोलॉजीज जो आ रहे हैं, they'll also use robotics in a very big way. In fact, we also have a program where we are looking at exploring robo and artificial intelligence as basically somebody who is a caregiver for the elderly person. A robo can help an elderly person to identify a medicine and give the medicine at the right time in a right form for consuming is possible.
दूसरी साइड पे very important thing in assistive technology is very low tech solutions. So what happens as teachers, you do lot of innovations, but those innovations never become solutions. मेरे टीचर ने मेरे लिए कुछ चीज़ें बनाई बट वो हज़ारों बच्चों तक कभी पहुंची नहीं, उनके टीचर्स को कुछ आइडिया नहीं है. So another area which excites us a lot is to look around and identify बिल्कुल basic चीज़ें, but if they become products, then the game can completely change. And those products should be usable by all. That is the way forward for us.
When we started this particular assistive technology lab, the idea was to reach out to as many people as possible. And we were able to do to some extent, particularly in education and mobility. But one thing which we have also seen that now government and many other organizations and startups have come in a big way to take assistive technology to next level. So we expect that in coming 10-15 years, probably nobody would be denied of assistive technology.
हमें अपने environments accessible करने हैं, infrastructure accessible करना है, compassionate mindset को लेके आना है, और इस सब को लाते हुए जब ये supportive environment exist करेगा, then people will shine like anything. तो वो create करने की हमारी ultimate विजन है और वही वे फॉरवर्ड है.
So फ्रेंड्स, देखा आपने और आई एम श्योर आप समझे होंगे और बेटर अबाउट दिस असिस्टिव टेक. हो सकता है आप इसके बारे में पहले से जानते हो सकता है यू हैव कम अक्रॉस दिस टर्म फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम टुडे. But I just have a small request to all of you. Now, whenever you meet anyone, हो सकता है कोई इंसान जो बुजुर्ग हो, जो अपने फ़ोन में ठीक से देख ना पा रहा हो, all you can do is just increase the font size so that it becomes easier for them to use the phone. या आपको पता है in our smartphones there are multiple such features hidden within the operating system, फिर चाहे वो Android हो या iOS हो. So I just request all of you कि next time आप अगर किसी से मिलें और कोई अगर अपने फ़ोन को ठीक से यूज़ नहीं कर पा रहा है because of a disability, तो you just help them, tell them कि वो कैसे अपने फ़ोन को यूज़ कर सकते हैं using voice commands, using their eyes, using gestures. It's very easy and आपको बहुत easily सारे options मिल जाएंगे. It might make lives of people around you even better with the help of assistive tech. मैं आपसे मिलता हूँ अगले एपिसोड में talking about again some interesting tech term. Till then, all of you take care and have a good day.
And our lead story this afternoon, well, a sensational murder in Maharashtra. Baba Siddique, one of the top NCP leaders and a political strongman in Maharashtra, who has been shot dead. In fact, he was shot dead inside his son Zeeshan's office, perhaps near his son Zeeshan's office. There were 3 rounds fired. Those bullets have been recovered by the police as well. And 2 key suspects have been detained by the police as well. Now, as per sources, there's also a Bishnoi gang link to the murder. That's important given the fact that, remember, Rohit Godara had said that anyone who is Salman Khan's friend is our enemy. So open gang war in a sense on the streets of Maharashtra, on the streets of Mumbai. Larger questions of law and order certainly being raised given the fact that there was a similar firing incident outside Salman Khan's residence just weeks back. And now Baba Siddique, who's not just a political strongman but also a Bollywood mediator, he has been shot dead in cold blood. Absolutely shocking there. In fact, there will be a straight funeral for Baba Siddique as well. Condolences pouring in from all, from across the political spectrum. In fact, the opposition has said that one must not politicize his death. Remember, he had joined Ajit Pawar's NCP just weeks back, but absolutely shocking there how he was murdered, and larger questions on law and order as well. In fact, the opposition is now cornering the Mahayuti government over law and order. Listen to all the reactions that have come in.
महाराष्ट्र में लॉ एंड ऑर्डर सिचुएशन पूरी ख़त्म हो गई है। महाराष्ट्र में ऐसे कभी हमने देखा नहीं था। जो राज्य मंत्री रह चुके हैं, जिनको Y+ ग्रेड की सुरक्षितता दी गई है, उनके ऊपर हमला होता है और वो मार के चले जाते हैं। ये बहुत दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है और महाराष्ट्र की पुलिस यंत्रणा के ऊपर बहुत बड़ा धप्पा है।
सीएम साहब भी इसके ऊपर उनका ध्यान दे रहे हैं, खुद होम मिनिस्टर भी दे रहे हैं और मेरा भी है, हमारे बाकी साथियों का भी है। और जल्द से जल्द पता चलेगा कि एग्जैक्ट ये सब करने का कारण क्या है, किसने ये सब सुपारी दी, किसने ये सब किया। इसके बारे में तुरंत नहीं, लेकिन 1-2 दिन में ही पता चलेगा, ऐसा मुझे विश्वास है। मेरी रात को देर से देवेंद्र जी के साथ भी बात हुई, चीफ मिनिस्टर साहब के साथ भी बात हुई। उन्होंने बताया कि इसके पीछे कौन है, किसका हाथ है, ये हम ढूंढ के ही निकालेंगे।
हमने तो ओपनली बोला आपको, लॉ एंड ऑर्डर वहाँ पर ठीक नहीं है और वो लोग उनको मुझे जान को खतरा है बोलने के बावजूद भी अगर पुलिस उसका रक्षण नहीं करता है तो ये बहुत बड़ा एक लैप्स है एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के तरफ से। वो ऐसे बम्बई जैसे एरिया में तो हमेशा पुलिस सतर्क रहना चाहिए।
देखिए, काफ़ी दुखद घटना है। कल हम लोगों को जानकारी मिली इसकी कि उनकी हत्या कर दी गई है। इस दुख के घड़ी में उनके परिवार और परिजनों से हम लोग पूरी संवेदना है और दुख के घड़ी में उनके साथ खड़े हैं। चाहेंगे कि और भी एक आध जो अपराधी बचे हैं या इसका जो मास्टरमाइंड है वो जल्द से जल्द जो है पकड़ा जाए। और लेकिन आश्चर्य करने वाली बात है कि बॉम्बे जैसे इतने बड़े शहर में बांद्रा जैसे इलाकों में अगर हत्या हो रही है तो ये चिंताजनक है।
मुंबई पुलिस को मालूम था, वाई सिक्योरिटी दी गई थी, पुलिस को कहा गया था ये धमकियाँ आ रही हैं। पुलिस का काम यह है कि सिर्फ सिक्योरिटी दे दे और चुप बैठे। कहाँ से धमकियाँ आई, कौन दे रहा है? राजनीति तो बिल्कुल मुझे तो 1% भी राजनीति की शंका जो है मेरे मन में जो है वह नहीं है।
मुंबई में खुलेआम पब्लिक प्लेस पर जहाँ क्राउड है वहाँ पे भी आकर गैंगस्टर हो ये ऐसे क्रिमिनल्स आके गोलियां चला रहे। क्या मुंबई और महाराष्ट्र यूपी और बिहार की तरफ जा रहा है या उसी रास्ते पर चल रहा है? लेके जाने का काम हो रहा है, ये डर हमें सताने लगा है। गृह मंत्री ने होम मिनिस्टर ने राजीनामा तो कब का देना चाहिए था।
New day, new show, a new experience.
Start your day with the news, not views.
We bring you stories that matter
and impact your life.
News that informs and keeps you ahead.
From Maximum City, Mumbai,
to the seat of power, Delhi,
NDTV brings you the best breakfast show.
Breakfast news on NDTV, 8 a.m. every day.
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
India's IT capital is always bustling. It's literally a city that never sleeps. And I keep you ahead on all the Bengaluru buzz.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
Sources also say that there was a death threat on Baba Siddique just 15 days back. Meanwhile, as the Bishnoi gang claims responsibility, Salman Khan's security has also been enhanced after the murder. Law and order. In fact, Prashant GS of the BJP is now joining us live on the phone line. Mr. Prashant, what the Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka seems to suggest is that, well, there have been cases against BJP leaders and RSS leaders that were withdrawn during your regime as well. So why politicize this particular case? Why call it appeasement at all? He says that there was no evidence, which is why the case was withdrawn.
No, this is absolute breakdown of law and order in Karnataka and appeasement politics at its best here. Congress has been doing what it has been doing for decades now, appeasement. Because the same government, when the Prana Pratishtha of Prabhu Shriram happened in Ayodhya, reopened the cases on Kar Sevak, saying that once a criminal, always a criminal, and therefore they reopened cases which were probably 30 years old. They tracked them down and wanted to arrest them for having taken part in the Kar Seva then, okay, in 91, 92. But now, because the perpetrators belong to a particular community whom D.K. Shivkumar fondly calls as brothers, and Parmeshwar refuses to call even people who were caught in cooker blast as terrorists, and he was trying to say that they were only merely accused, it shows their political patronage. And also now AIM has supported Congress in the polls. They have endorsed the support. So it shows that they're only for appeasement politics and not for governance. And therefore this shows the absolute breakdown of law and order in Karnataka. And we are nowhere better than a banana republic here. On one hand, you have the chief minister involved in a scam, and you have law and order machinery completely broken down, and now they want to withdraw the cases.
Okay. All
What
right,
more can you expect from this
Thanks,
government?
Mr. Prashant, for your perspective. Of course, the BJP is saying that this is nothing but appeasement politics. Pratibha Raman, our colleague, is also joining us live on the phone line. So, Pratibha, a huge political flashpoint now with the Hubli riots case, and this was a huge case back then, and now the case being withdrawn. The Congress saying that there's no, there isn't enough evidence, which is why the case is being withdrawn.
Well, yes, this has been an ongoing issue ever since the cabinet took a decision on Thursday to withdraw the case following a petition by members of the Relief Committee of Anjuman-e-Islam organization. And right since then, the Congress has been maintaining that there was inconclusive evidence and that there are several other cases along with this which also involve BJP leaders in those cases like Mr. C.T. Ravi as well as Mr. Sudhakar. Why not talk about those cases? However, the BJP has been taking this case in particular mainly because you are talking of a riot case which also saw a lot of violence that took place at the police station in Hubli. And how is it that these people can be let off? Today in Hubli, there has been some of the BJP leaders who did organize a sit-in protest blocking the road, especially the route where the Chief Minister's convoy was to pass through. And that is when several of these BJP leaders were also taken into preventive custody. The BJP has time and again promised that they would be ensuring that the protest would continue until and unless there is some kind of a logical conclusion to this particular political flashpoint. However, the Congress has continued to maintain, even today in Hubli, with several Congress leaders talking about other cases involving especially the Bilkis Banu case or the Baba Ram Rahim case, where you talk about Baba Ram Rahim getting out on parole for about at least 15 times now. And in the Bilkis Banu case, the kind of injustice that was done with the acquittal of several of the accused. These are some of the blame game that has been on between the Congress and the BJP. However, with respect to this, it is the Cabinet subcommittee that has given this recommendation based on which the Cabinet has decided, but the matter has to be decided only at the court. Back to you.
All right, Pratibha, thanks very much for joining us with the latest there. As Pratibha is reporting, this has been an ongoing standoff between the Congress government and the BJP there. But the BJP is saying that the Congress yet again indulging in what they call appeasement politics, especially in the state of Karnataka. And well, looking at sports news now, the Indian women's team is all set to take the destiny into their hands with yet another net run rate boosting victory as they face Australia now in the T20 Women's World Cup in the UAE. Take a look.
The stakes are high. A match extremely crucial for India's semi-final hopes. India takes on Australia in their final group match. A win could mean 6 points and a big boost to their chances of qualifying for the knockout stage.
Could it be the first boundary of the contest? Yes, it is.
However, a loss for India would mean that the women in blue will have to rely on New Zealand's matches against Pakistan and Sri Lanka. Although a narrow loss to Australia could still see India qualify, but their net run rate would need to remain higher than New Zealand's. On the other hand, if India beats Australia but doesn't surpass their net run rate, they'll need New Zealand to lose one of their remaining matches. Australia, the defending champions, are almost certain to qualify for the semi-finals, but they are dealing with injury concerns, including skipper Alisa Healy's acute foot injury and Tyler Fleming's dislocated shoulder. Could that be advantage India? NDTV Bureau Report.
And with that, we'll take a short break now, but news continues on the other side.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola Edge 50 Pro, world's first AI-powered pro-grade camera.
In a world of shifting power dynamics, India stands tall as a global force. Join us at the NDTV World Summit 2024, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi will unveil his transformative vision for the India century. Be a part of a summit of thought leaders and visionaries, shaping the world's future. NDTV World Summit, October 21st and 22nd on the NDTV network.
New day, new show, a new experience.
Start your day with the news, not views.
We bring you stories that matter
and impact your life.
News that informs and keeps you ahead.
From Maximum City, Mumbai,
to the seat of power, Delhi,
NDTV brings you the best breakfast show.
Breakfast news on NDTV, 8 a.m. every day.
I've been reporting on all issues, big and small, from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
India's IT capital is always buzz. It's literally a city that never sleeps. And I keep you ahead on all the Bengaluru buzz.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
Breezy morning here in Dallas and a warm, sunny Texan sun asking you howdy. That's a glitzy trophy that they're playing for, and one team will have its hand on it on the 14th evening. Today it's the Chicago CC taking on LA Waves, a repeat of last night's contest, but the stakes are higher as this is the qualifier.
It's toss time here at 60 Strikes. Qualifier number one, it's Chicago CC taking on LA Waves. To the left of me, I've got match referee Michael Rugubert, and we've got Timil Mills from LA Waves and Robin Uthappa from Chicago CC. Let's give it a flip.
Tails.
That's a big toss. Tails is the call. Tails it is. You've won the toss, Timil. What are we going to be doing and why?
We're going to have a bowl. Let's get out there first up and then know what we have to chase later.
So the LA Waves winning the toss and saying we will have a bowl. Chicago CC, captained by Robin Uthappa, who wants to come back in form with a bat in hand. Chris Lynn, his name's up top, but he can be used as a floater. Julian's in form. Harmer's been excellent with the ball. So has been Michael Lees. And Karthik Kattapalli, watch out for the local hero. To take you through the LA Waves, welcome Mike Haseman.
Yeah, Rossington's a big blow. I mean, they 27 and 22 were the runs that were scored by Tim David and Rossington yesterday, which changed the game dramatically. Munzi's a fine player. Eskenazi is a good replacement as a keeper.
Robin Uthappa ensuring that the style quotient does not reduce one bit even before he takes guard. Chris Lane back to being the opener. Batters are set in trying to go after him. And they're ones who stay back and quietly tuck it away before Lynn starts to tick. Great to see that from a youngster. But that's what happens when Uthappa gets going. This was in his wheelhouse. And this will be another. That was quicker. But the keeper didn't get the memo. More trouble here for Jagpreet. Pinner, the keeper, is not too far away from the batter. Oh, excellent. Uthappa's picked his spot. And he will make Jagpreet pay. Ever so often.
Catch it.
So controlled. So elegant. That was a freebie for Chris Lynn. And why will he miss out on it?
Stumps.
This time he got width and Uthappa will latch onto it.
Picked up a long, long way for half a dozen more. Tries to go big again.
It is miscued. And that's a fantastic catch. Ramesh, he makes it look very easy, but he's picked up the skipper. Robin Uthappa is gone. Chicago. And that's through. It's going to run away for 4 wides. Just missing the radar on this occasion, David. Picked up. And this should go all the way. Big 6, and it's Lynn this time. He's having a good tournament here at 60 strikes. Pulled away. And in the gap, he'll pick up 4 more here. Flighted and over the bowler's head. 4 more. Lynn is having a fantastic time.
Loses at the last moment and goes again. This time with the breeze. It's into the car park.
Enjoying it. We've got a lovely team. It's been a really, yeah, they have, and that's been the one really good thing, I think.
Through the offside, in the gap, and 4 more. Flight on offer, pulled away, and to the boundary. He brings up his half century. Chris Lynn, he's having a good time at 60 strikes.
Brings up the 100 as well.
Brings up 100 as well for the team.
Both milestones appreciated by everybody, Chicago.
Pulled away again, and it's going to be the same result. 4 more, the runs flowing too quickly for LA Waves' liking. Gone for the big one, and it's going to sail just over the rope. Good effort in the deep.
No, it pops out, and does it then land on the wedge on the full? It looks like that from those sort of images, that he's actually carried the ball an extra 1.5 meters. Just here, it goes through him, and then it lands right on the wedge for 6. Yes, ends the over. That over goes for 19 after 7.
And David again, a little bit leg side. That's whipped away comfortably. Julian this time.
If he can be anywhere close to that kind of form, he would have done great service to his team. And shots of this kind is exactly what he needs.
Past that.
Catch it, good George.
Oh, this would be more runs. Well, latched onto this very quickly. And this will sail over for 6. What an over this is turning out to be for Chicago CC. 6-6 for 6.
Catch it. Get around.
There was extra bit of bounce, but he had an answer to that too. Julien completely misses this one. And the last laugh is of Ramesh. But Lynn's still done his job. 69 of just 28.
Impressive.
Extra bit of bounce. No control. And a terrific take to roll his arm over. Has that carried? Yes, it has. That's the end of Harmer. Mills all smiles.
Because the big fella got down and took that catch. Let's hope he's okay, George Munsey.
Oh, cheekily done. David launched with love from Tanveer. And throws his bat at this one. Will get the distance. The perfect finish for Chicago CC. 167 on the board. And Mills and Co know they have to create history to find a W in front of their name for this game. It's very interesting.
There's going to be more guys who are going to be needed to chip in and help him. 69 to Lynn off 28 deliveries. That was outstanding work. Magnificent partnership of 97 and 33 balls with he and Leonardo Julian, who batted really well to get them to 167. We have a look at the bowling card. Astle 2 overs, number 24 is pretty tidy. Jagpreet got some treatment, that's for sure. Ramesh, nice catch. Dropped one as well, 2 for 23 off his 2 overs. That was good stuff from him. David got some tap, that's for sure. 47 off 2 overs, and also Mills with a bit of spin. So the last two between them going for 83. 82. Good maths. 168 they're going to chase in 60 balls. and they need to get a very good start. They can't just rely on Tim David. They've got to make sure that they play really well. It's a little bit windy today. That's eliminator 1. Eliminator 2 is tomorrow. Tim David, a bit of that strike rate, 240, and he's opening with Stephen Eskenazi. Hello.
So Hilton Veer opening the bowling consistently. He's bowled him. First delivery and right through the gate. In the gap. And this might be a boundary. It is. It does roll away for 4 to finish the over. Into the leg side. And this time he will pick up a boundary. It's Eskenazi. And this is picked up. Down the ground, a couple bounces, and into the ropes for a boundary. The waves.
2 outside the circle.
He's been picked up on the first delivery of his over, and it sails for 4. Use of the feet, and this is a big one. It's 6 more. He's got him right through the gates, and it's Burns. Big wicket this.
Oh, he's got all of that into the breeze. 6 runs.
As far as the waves are concerned.
Another one. And gone. It's a good catch.
But he wanted him to stretch a little bit more to lose his shape. Oh, that was in the air. Half an opportunity.
Not to be. Over cover. That'll be some runs. Welcome. Plays the big shot. And gets the distance. That's in the car park. That'll be more runs. Work to do in the deep. In vain. And goes again. Poor delivery.
And cannot stop complaining. I think it's a great setting, and it's a great boost for US cricket. I think his name is Karthik Gattepalli. I think so. I mean, I can see a lot of good talent.
To front up and play the winners of the second game today. Chicago CC winning by 15 runs today, and he's going to be really important in the final. As you look at that match summary, Chicago posting a huge 167 for 4 with Lynn. Absolutely brilliant with his 69 of just 28 balls, and Julian played well also for his 33. Ramesh a couple, and then the Waves, Ramesh 39 and Race 26 not out. He'll be pleased with that off 9, and Gattapalli the star with a ball of 3 for 30, and Harmer also very tidy. And the Chicago Cricket Club winning by 15 runs.
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
India's IT capital is always buzz. It's literally a city that never sleeps. And I keep you ahead on all the Bengaluru buzz.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
TV, 8 a.m. every day.
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
India's IT capital is always buzz. It's literally a city that never sleeps. And I keep you ahead on all the Bengaluru buzz.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360.
Hello and welcome. You're watching NDTV 24/7. I'm Osama Shah. We are getting you the latest in the death of Baba Siddique, the NCP leader. Now, both the accused, they have been produced in the court. The police has sought 14-day custody for both of them. We'll get you all the details, but first, let's take a look at the headlines. Top NCP leader Baba Siddique shot dead in Mumbai. The two accused held in Baba Siddique murder. Both these accused have been produced in the court and the police has sought 14-day custody for both of them. According to sources, the Bishnoi gang, there is a link of Bishnoi gang to Baba Siddique's murder. Death threats to Baba Siddique was given 15 days back as per our sources. Salman Khan's security in the meanwhile, it has been enhanced after Baba's murder. Law and order concerns rise after Baba Siddique's murder. The opposition says that the Maharashtra, it's a complete collapse of law and order in Maharashtra. The opposition targets the Mahayuti alliance on the law and order ahead of the crucial assembly elections. And India eye a big win against injury hit Australia in the Women's T20 World Cup in a bid to reach the semis. Well, the NCP leader Baba Siddique, he was shot dead in Mumbai's Bandra last night at 9:30 p.m. As per reports, 3 rounds of shots were fired. Mumbai police, they have arrested 2 suspects and as per the sources, these suspects, they are claiming the involvement of the Lawrence Bishnoi gang in this murder. Now, both the accused, they were produced in the court and the police has sought 14 days custody for both of them. One shooter and an accomplice, they are still absconding. In the meanwhile, 10 teams have been formed to nab the accused. Sources also say that the Haryana police, the Gujarat police as well as the Delhi police special cell are also investigating this entire case. Sources also add that there was an existing dispute with Siddique was involved in over a slum rehabilitation project. In the meanwhile, Salman Khan, who's said to be a close aide of Baba Siddique, a friend of Baba Siddique, remember, he himself had received several death threats supposedly from the same Bishnoi gang earlier.
सीएम साहब भी इसके ऊपर उनका ध्यान दे रहे हैं, खुद होम मिनिस्टर भी दे रहे हैं और मेरा भी है, हमारे बाकी साथियों का भी है और जल्द से जल्द पता चलेगा कि एग्जैक्ट ये सब करने का कारण क्या है, किसने ये सब सुपारी दी, किसने ये सब किया, इसके बारे में तुरंत नहीं लेकिन 1-2 दिन में ही पता चलेगा, ऐसा मुझे विश्वास है। मेरी रात को देर से देवेंद्र जी के साथ भी बात हुई, चीफ मिनिस्टर साहब के साथ भी बात हुई। उन्होंने बताया कि इसके पीछे कौन है, किसका हाथ है, ये हम ढूंढ के ही निकालेंगे।
ये क्यों हुआ? जो लोग उनको सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं उनके आप ये देखिए वायरल हो रहा है। वो बोल रहे थे कि जिन लोगों ने फतवा निकाला उन्होंने कितनी गंदी भाषा में खत्म करने की बात की है, वो देखिए। तो इससे किसी का माथा अगर नहीं जाता तो इसके बारे में भी पुलिस को सोचना चाहिए, ऐसे नहीं होना चाहिए, इस तरह के वीडियो वायरल नहीं होने चाहिए। तो इस सबका इफेक्ट होता है और उन्होंने अपना पार्टी चेंज किया। हर किसी को हक है किसी पार्टी में, लेकिन किसी की जान नहीं जानती।
महाराष्ट्र के लॉ एंड ऑर्डर रहा ही कहाँ है, उनके पार्टी के नेता भी सुरक्षित नहीं है। जब उनके पार्टी के नेता सुरक्षित नहीं तो महाराष्ट्र की जनता कैसे सुरक्षित रह सकती है? और सबसे बड़ी बात है कि महाराष्ट्र में छोटे बच्चे भी सुरक्षित नहीं है, बच्चियाँ सुरक्षित नहीं है, महिला सुरक्षित नहीं है, आम आदमी भी सुरक्षित नहीं है। तो लॉ एंड ऑर्डर की सिचुएशन महाराष्ट्र में बिगड़ी हुई है और उसका पीछे का जो राजनीति है सरकार की, गुनहगारों को पनाह देना, यही राजनीति और उन्हीं के आधार पर राजनीति करना, ये सत्ता में बैठे हुए लोग और उसमें होम मिनिस्टर का ज़्यादा इन्वॉल्व है।
This indicates complete collapse of the law and order machinery in the state. We had an encounter killing in Badlapur some time back. Now we have got a gangland type of extortion type of killing. Baba Siddique, the person who was killed yesterday was a senior political leader. He was a minister in the Congress government. He was our colleague. He had received death threats 15 days back. His security was enhanced. Even then, this happened. Was it allowed to happen? I mean, it's a very serious matter. People of Maharashtra are asking what has happened to the law and order situation in the state.
महाराष्ट्र में लॉ एंड ऑर्डर सिचुएशन पूरी ख़त्म हो गई है। महाराष्ट्र में ऐसे कभी हमने देखा नहीं था। जो राज्य मंत्री रह चुके हैं, जिनको Y+ ग्रेड की सुरक्षितता दी गई है, उनके ऊपर हमला होता है और वो मार के चले जाते हैं। ये बहुत दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है और महाराष्ट्र की पुलिस यंत्रणा के ऊपर बहुत बड़ा धप्पा है।
हमने तो ओपनली बोला आपको, लॉ एंड ऑर्डर वहाँ पर ठीक नहीं है और वो लोग उनको मुझे जान को खतरा है बोलने के बावजूद भी अगर पुलिस उसका रक्षण नहीं करता है तो ये बहुत बड़ा एक लैप्स है एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के तरफ से। वो ऐसे बम्बई जैसे एरिया में तो हमेशा पुलिस सतर्क रहना चाहिए।
Meanwhile, Salman Khan, who's said to be a very close friend of Baba Siddique, his security has been tightened. This move comes after Baba Siddique's murder last night. Security, in fact, has been increased outside Salman Khan's residence. Sources say that the Bishnoi gang is linked to the Siddique murder. Let's listen in to some of the reactions that have come in.
और मैं बतौर नागरिक ये सब कुछ कह रहा हूँ, बतौर एक दोस्त कह रहा हूँ कि ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए था। जब उन पर हमला हुआ तो सिक्योरिटी वाले कहाँ थे? उनके हमले को रोका क्यों नहीं गया? और पकड़ लिया गया का मतलब यह है कि अंजाम होने के बाद आपने पकड़ा, सांप निकल गया और आप लकीर पीट रहे हैं, वही बात हो गई। तो पूरा देश जो है इस वक्त सदमे में डूबा हुआ है और लोग जो हैं आश्चर्यचकित हैं कि ये क्या हो गया, कैसे हो गया।
All right, my colleagues Anuj Raite and Radhika Ramaswamy, who have been tracking this story very closely, they join us on the show. First to you, Anuj, you are outside the court right now. The police, it has produced the two accused in the court and has sought 14-day custody. Just break it down for us. What is the police saying at the moment?
Well, yes, the fundamental points that the police is putting forth, for demanding a 14-day police custody is the fact that the two accused here, Gurmail Singh and Dharmaraj Kashyap, they both are not cooperating with the authorities. They are giving information which is misleading the public, is what they are saying, and it requires the police to do more research and more investigation on the basis of what they are saying. We also see that there was an inconsistency between what Dharmaraj said his age was in reality and what was the age written by the police in their records, and later it was found that the age said by Dharmaraj in the court was indeed wrong. So you're seeing that these are very inconsistent statements coming out from these two prime accused here in this particular case, and the police is asking for a 14-day custody for this particular reason. Although we've been talking about the involvement of the Bishnoi gang since last night, but even as of yet, there has been nothing said in court or outside the court officially on paper about this particular thing. The police still maintain that there might be several different reasons, for this particular attack to happen last night. It might range from political rivalry to, to kind of rivalry, but because of land or land disputes and all of those things. And the police needs to investigate these things, and hence they have been asked for. They're asking for a longer police custody. In fact, they've also found close to a couple dozen of cartridges with these two, with one of these two accused, and that is a very important sign. A lot of questions have been asked about how did these two youngsters, because one of them is 19, the other is 21, how were they able to get access of these cartridges? What was it that they were exactly doing in Pune? They had a business in Pune. Who helped them while they were living in Kurla? The police in this proceedings have also said that while the two people are in their custody, there is not one but two people who are absconding right now. One of them was present with these two yesterday physically, and the other is believed to be, a supplier, someone who has assisted these three people to carry out the plan last night. So this is what we have in front of us at the moment. The police has sought for a 14-day police custody to know more, to investigate more about this particular case, and to also find out very many different angles in this particular case, and also to kind of strengthen their search operation for the two accused who are at the moment absconding.
Absolutely. And Radhika, apart from the motivation behind this assassination, as Anuj Raitha was mentioning, the entire the entire aspect that the police is right now investigating. Just give us a sense of the alleged link of the Bishnoi gang in this, because that is something that has been the talk of the town for a few moments now.
That's right. Talk of the town is that there could be links to Lawrence Bishnoi gang as far as this entire case is concerned. We know for a fact that one of the Bishnoi gang members did claim responsibility for the attacks, but the Mumbai police is looking into the veracity of this claim as well. In that particular post, it's been said that as a result of Baba Siddique's close association with Salman Khan and Dawood, this act was committed. I am outside Baba Siddique's residence. As you can see, immense police presence here, and tons of people have gathered here to pay their final respects to Baba Siddique. Just a while ago, we saw Sohail Khan, Arpita Khan also going inside the residence, and also Uddhav Thackeray, Aditya Thackeray paying last respects as well, and several from political and entertainment fraternity. We believe that Salman Khan could also arrive any minute here. Yesterday, of course, both Salman Khan as well as Shah Rukh Khan visited the hospital where, last night, Leelavati Hospital is where he was admitted post the shooting. However, he was declared dead as soon as he was taken to the hospital. So at this point, we know for a fact that investigations are underway. 2 people arrested, 2 absconding, which include the third shooter as well. And as Anuj had been pointing out, a 14-day custody has been sought. Now, the order is yet to come as to how many days custody will be granted to the police as far as these 2 are concerned. Police, of course, going on to talk about how the custody is required, as they've not been cooperating with the investigation. There could be international links. There are cartridges found. Where were they staying? Who were they in touch with? And how was the conspiracy hatched? These are some of the important information that the police wants to know currently, for which the custody has been sought. So that's as far as investigations are concerned. Politically, of course, a slugfest happening. Opposition attacking the state government over the collapse in law and order situation, wanting the resignation of CM as well as Home Minister, saying that this is not the first time that an incident of this nature has been happening, firing outside Salman Khan's residence, now firing at Baba Siddique, leading to his death as well. So yes, this is very, very serious and concerning, is something that not just the opposition but also citizens across Mumbai feel, because it did not happen in an isolated area. It happened bang in the middle of Mumbai, in an area like Bandra, which is known for prominent personalities living across, be it in the political circles or of course within the entertainment industry. So it is concerning, it is serious. Brazen attack that happened last night at outside Zeeshan Siddique's office in Bandra East. So yes, a lot of movement here outside Baba Siddique's residence. A lot of people are paying a visit to pay their homage to Baba Siddique. That include people from political as well as entertainment fraternity. We did see Sohail Khan sometime back, Arpita Khan also visiting this particular place, and many within the political circle, including Aditya Thackeray, Uddhav Thackeray, of course. Sharad Pawar, we believe, is on his way. We also saw Jitendra Awad. We saw Priya Dutt sometime back. After a while, there could be a prayer event that will happen at about 6 to 7 p.m. and then there could be a small procession, after which the burial will happen in a burial ground in Marine Drive. So yes, investigations underway. It is leading to a political fallout and slugfest of sorts in the state of Maharashtra, and certainly state government is under a lot of pressure to give strictest of punishment to the perpetrators and to come to a logical conclusion as far as this case is concerned, and whether at all there is a Lawrence Bishnoi link in this.
Absolutely, and the fact that the politicians, especially the opposition, is targeting the government over this entire incident, raking up the law and order situation in Maharashtra. especially in Mumbai. Do you feel that that is going to have any sort of impact on the upcoming elections? Because this is a very crucial time for not just the opposition but also the government as well.
Absolutely, this is a crucial time for the state government, and NDA had been making all sorts of announcements over the last a couple of months, in terms of development projects, in terms of certain schemes, all this after their defeat in Lok Sabha election. So state government had been very careful in projecting itself as a formidable force as far as the entire election scheme of thing is concerned. However, with this incident, it is going to be difficult for our state government to convince the voters, considering it did not happen in any isolated area or in a far off suburb of the city of Mumbai. This incident, firing and death of a very influential and powerful political figure happening in Bandra, which is an important constituency, be it for the, for the city of Mumbai. So therefore, this is definitely going to have an impact on the state elections, and this is in a way a setback as far as state government is concerned, considering it had been trying to garner votes from a cross-section of people. And, as far as the minority section is concerned, Baba Siddique is a formidable force there. He is somebody who was with the Congress. He's now with the ruling alliance. Of course, he joined the NCP just a few months ago. Despite him being a ruling alliance party member, an incident like this happening is quite shocking, very concerning, which is why the opposition is seeking answers from the state government and is putting a lot of pressure and turning up the heat on the state government.
Absolutely, and in fact, another very important point that needs to be talked about is the Salman Khan's security at the moment, because something similar happened, just a couple of months ago when a couple of shooters, they shot at his residence. So that is also going to be one of the big talking points at the moment within the fraternity right now.
Yes, absolutely. Salman Khan's, firing, as in the firing that happened outside Salman Khan's residence, was the last big, case in terms of, Lawrence Bishnoi that we had covered over the last few months. And it was not the first time that he was getting a threat from that particular gang. Of course, firing outside happened outside for the first time a few months back. Before that, of course, he had received death threats in the form of emails, in the form of notes kept outside his residence and so on. After which, of course, his security was strengthened. Now, after this incident of Baba Siddique's, where he died, Salman Khan happened to be a close family member, family friend of Baba Siddique's. Baba Siddique hosts these iftar parties where Salman Khan, participates, and they are very closely linked. They're close associates. So therefore, and that particular, statement by Lawrence Bishnoi, allegedly by Lawrence Bishnoi, gang member, claiming that as a result of his close association with Salman Khan, Baba Siddique was targeted. Yes, security enhanced once again outside Salman Khan's residence, Galaxy, which is not too far away from Baba Siddique's residence. So these are all, in Bandra premises, and all of this happening either in Bandra West or Bandra East. So therefore, very, very concerning, and both these incidents happening over a period of, within a gap of just a few months. So now, of course, security is strengthened outside Baba Siddique's residence, office, and many other premises, certainly, but also outside Salman Khan's Galaxy residence as well.
All right, Radhika Ramaswamy and Anuj Rai, thank you very much for getting us all the latest from there. We'll keep tracking this situation as it develops. Time for a very short break. More news and updates on the other side.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola Edge 50 Pro, world's first AI-powered pro-grade camera.
Top NCP leader Baba Siddique shot dead in Mumbai. 2 accused held in this particular case. Both the accused have been produced in court. The police seek 14-day custody for the accused. Sources tell NDTV that the Bishnoi gang link might be there in Baba Siddique's murder. Death threats were given to Baba Siddique 15 days back, as per sources. In the meanwhile, Salman Khan's rest security has been enhanced after Baba's murder. Law and order concerns after Baba Siddique's murder. The opposition says that there is a complete collapse of law and order in Maharashtra. The opposition targets the Mahayuti alliance on law and order ahead of the polls. And India eye big win against injury hit Australia in the Women's T20 World Cup.
Breaking news coming in. Well, the accused in the Baba murder case has been sent to police custody till October 21st. So a 7-day police custody. The police had of course sought a 14-day custody, but the accused has been sent to a 7-day police custody. Also important here, one of the accused has not been sent to police custody on age grounds. Now there's a technical term called ossification, which essentially means that the police will have to present the second accused, whose age, who apparently is a minor, again before the court to, to sort of clarify the little technical detail about his age. Now that becomes important because if the accused is a minor, then the entire probe takes a different route altogether. So the court has asked the police to produce the second accused again after the ossification test, which essentially means after there is clarity about his age, because as I said, if he is a minor, then there will be an entirely different route that will be followed as far as the investigation is concerned. There's a little technical detail there, but what's important is that the main accused in this particular case, the main shooter, has been sent to a 7-day police custody. Now remember, as per information, so far there are 4 key accused, 3 shooters, one of whom is still on the run, and one accomplice who essentially helped the 2 shooters execute the plan. He is also still on the run. In fact, what the police suspect at the moment is that one of the shooters has left Maharashtra. So that is something that's going to be a challenge for the crime branch, for the Mumbai crime branch. Of course, all angles are being investigated by the police. Of course, the police have clarified it before the court as well that this seems to be a planned murder or a conspiracy. Now, this is important given the fact that there were also all these reports of a death threat on Baba Siddique just 15 days before the murder. So all of those angles being investigated. Of course, the police have also talked about business rivalry plus that slum rehabilitation project that was in contention as well. So all of these angles being investigated by the police, though of course it does seem to be a conspiracy, and that is what the police are probing. Now the Bishnoi gang becomes important here because they in a social media post have claimed responsibility. So far there is no on-record statement from the police as far as the Bishnoi gang link is concerned, but certainly that is one aspect that is being probed as per sources. Now of course it was Rohit Godara, one of Lawrence Bishnoi's closest aides, who had said that anybody who is Salman Khan's friend is our enemy. This was soon after the shooting outside Salman Khan's residence. So, that link becomes extremely contentious and extremely concerning for the Mumbai crime branch. That is something that is being investigated as well. But the breaking development right now is that one of the main shooters
has been a topic of contention right since the time the proceedings began here in the court. Led to 2 things. Firstly, it led to only one of the 2 accused getting police custody, and it also led to a very kind of detailed deep dive by the magistrate here in the court to this case, because it is not just the inconsistency between the age of what the accused claims to be and what is recorded by the police, but it is also some inconsistencies in the name as well. They're saying that the name here and the name at the hometown of that particular accused is different. So there is a lot of confusion over the identity and the age of of one of the 2 accused, which is why only one of the accused has been given a police custody up until the 21st, while the others will be governed when an ossification test is done. Now, ossification test is a measure through which is a mean through which a bone age is measured and the age of the individual is determined. Now, that will have to be determined by the police first for that particular individual to get another hearing and to get a police custody later on. But that becomes an important contention. And secondly, the police here, the government lawyer here stated several reasons for the police custody to be as long as 14 days, be it the international links, be it the fact that there were 24 cartridges found with the two accused here. They also mentioned that it is not a team of 3 but a team of 4 individuals who is involved into all of this. While the 2 of them are with the police right now, the other 2 are absconding. Multiple teams have been formed according to the police here. 10 teams have been formed, which have been sent to different parts of the state to look out for the 2 accused. But, there has been no information about them up until now. It is not even 24 hours since this entire event has unfolded. And the police has already managed to get police custody for one of the 2 accused, but the other accused becomes a point of contention. Now, the next few days are going to be crucial in that regard, because the result of falsification test will determine what kind of approach does the court take towards the second accused. If in case the other individual is below the age of 18, if he is indeed 17 on what he claims to be, then the entire approach will change, because that is when the accused becomes a minor. But another important pointer, when we were talking to the advocate here, they said that the Lawrence Bishnoi angle was not discussed in the court today. This is what all of us have been talking about since yesterday. There has also been a social media post which is yet to be verified by the Mumbai police yet. But the Lawrence Bishnoi angle, as many of us expected, a discussion for it to happen about it in the court, has not really appeared in the court. What happened in the court was just a discussion about the number of cartridges found, the age, which is a contentious issue, and about the identity of the individual, of the accused here in the court. So moving ahead, the police have a task of firstly wrapping up or setting the fundamentals right for their investigation in 7 days, which is half of what they're expected for as far as the police custody is concerned. And secondly, that too with only one accused, because they also got to finish the ossification test of the other accused, make sure that the age is proven to be above 18 for them to seek police custody of the second accused.
Also, Anuj, what the prosecution said in court becomes important, because the prosecution, while of course they did not discuss the Bishnoi gang angle, they've also talked about we need to find out as to why there were so many cartridges and whether there are any international links or not, because of course this entire aspect of contract killing has taken center stage. So of course that larger conspiracy angle is something that the police are investigating as well.
Well, yes, indeed. Conspiracy angles were introduced in the court, and when you mention about international links, that does kind of indirectly hint towards the involvement of the Lawrence Bishnoi gang, because as we know, while their head is in the police, the head is in the jail, but a lot of members of these gangs, the majority of this gang kind of acts from across different countries in the world, especially from the West, be it Canada or the other countries. So is that a part of the international link is yet to be found out, but that was just a statement made in the court. These are the angles that the police is looking at. So they did not really specifically pinpoint at what exactly are these international links about, or what exactly are these cartridges about, but all they said is that these are serious issues. How did these individuals, whose age probably ranges from 17 or 19 till 21, who are not residents of Maharashtra, make their way through here, found themselves a business in scrap dealing industry in Pune, and then were able to successfully conduct recce at the heart of Mumbai, in Bandra region, which is a very secured region, especially for the Siddique family, and then execute what they eventually end up doing yesterday. That requires an immaculate amount of planning and execution, and it is also expected that more number of people might be involved into all of this than what is seen by the naked eye at the moment. But nothing of that, of course, was said in the court today, but all of these things will be taken into consideration by the police in the next 7 days, while they'll be keeping one of the 2 accused in the police custody. At the same time, parallel, the ossification test for the other accused will be undertaken just to determine his age, and then the proceedings will move forward with that individual.
Let me also get in Radhika at this moment. She is joining us on the phone line. So Radhika, while of course the entire Bishnoi gang link aspect was something that was not discussed in court, what are you picking up from your Mumbai crime branch sources? Because that is something that becomes extremely important. The police, of course, looking at why there were so many cartridges, whether there are any international links, who is the mastermind really behind this attack, a contract killing as it were. What are you picking up from your sources as far as the entire gangster link aspect is concerned?
That's why police looking at multiple angles at this point. Of course, gangster link is something that police is very closely investigating. We know for a fact that somebody from within the Lawrence Bishnoi gang had claimed responsibility for the attack via social media posts, in which he said that as a result of Baba Siddique's close association with Salman Khan, he was targeted and was also avenging the death of Anuj Thapar, who was one of the accused in the Salman Khan firing incident, house firing incident, and later he took his own life while in custody. So that's what the post said. But when we spoke to Mumbai police officials, they said that they are still verifying the post. The veracity of that particular post has to be, verified at this point. So one cannot really confirm at this point whether it was indeed somebody from Lawrence Bishnoi gang who did post that message. So that is something that is being ascertained. But international links is what the police have said. During the remand, police did not really take the name of Lawrence Bishnoi. Instead, they said they have to establish the links of all of these accused with the international connections. So who these international connections are, that is something that's a matter of investigation at this point. Certainly, Lawrence Bishnoi gang link is coming up, time and again. We also believe that this was a well-planned, well-executed attack. There were handlers. There was certainly a mastermind. Who that mastermind is, under whose instruction it was carried out, what was the kind of money that was paid and promised, for how long they were doing a recce. We believe that they did multiple recces of his house and residence. They stayed on rent. They were given some amount as well. So these are obviously very well executed attacks. So therefore, a lot of angles being looked into at this point. But certainly very, very concerning and worrying, the fact that something of this nature happening, a brazen attack happening in the middle of the bustling city of Mumbai in Bandra West, which is one of the prime areas of the city.
All right, Radhika, thanks very much for joining us for the latest there. In fact, as Radhika is reporting, one of the major takeaways there is that the police have said that this is a planned murder, a planned conspiracy, and that raises serious concerns as far as the law and order situation in Mumbai is concerned, and perhaps a grim reminder of the dark underbelly of Mumbai. And well, moving now to the other story that we are tracking very, very closely. The MVA white paper that has now been released against the Mahayuti government. And well, in that white paper or charge sheet, as it were, the MVA has talked about various issues from farmer distress to, of course, the law and order situation, which of course is now very much in the focus with Baba Siddique's murder. Let me go across to my colleague, to the BJP spokesperson, in fact, Shaina NC, now joining us live. So Shaina, a couple of important points that the MVA is making there in that quote-unquote charge sheet. But the law and order situation certainly in focus, particularly after Baba Siddique's murder, and this remains a real challenge for the government, isn't it?
Firstly, condolences to Baba Siddique's entire family, and may his soul rest in peace. I think it's a very tragic moment, and we hope that the police, and I'm sure that the police will be extremely successful. Two of the perpetrators of crime have been booked, and one who is currently absconding will also be taken to task. The Chief Minister as well as the Home Minister have said clearly that this is not an issue which is going to be taken lying down, and fear of law will persist. And the administration is going to work with the state government to ensure that this entire gang link, or whatever the conspiracy theory of why they chose to murder Baba Siddique, is out in the public domain. Coming to law and order, you did question whether it's Badlapur, whether it's Baba Siddique or any other case. The state government has not failed in executing and booking the people who are accused. You ask about a white paper. I think it's nothing but a black paper, because they haven't even read where Maharashtra is headed and where Maharashtra is heading. If you look at the $1 trillion economy, Maharashtra is the one state which has contributed, which has had the maximum investment in the sections of IT, agriculture. The list is endless. For those who are just interested in playing politics, and especially today, I think it's unfortunate, because it's only ahead of a poll and a poll mandate where they have betrayed the people of Maharashtra. And as Devendra Fadnavis said, and he said it very clearly, he said that, you've had in the past people who have been perpetrators of crime, corruption, trying to engage and corner the most honest Mahayuti government.
I think that's an important point, Shaina, you're making there. And I think both the issues, this white paper or the charge sheet that the MVA government has come out with, and of course Baba Siddique's murder, all of this does seem to be taking a political color right ahead of the assembly elections. But, you know, the political ramifications of this, and also this is a grim reminder of, as I said, Mumbai's dark underbelly. I mean, many would say that all political parties across the spectrum have done grave injustice or disservice by sort of, as you said, giving patronage to gangsters, giving patronage to people from the underworld, and that seems to be the case in Mumbai for, you know, more than a decade now, and nothing seems to have changed.
I tend to disagree because I think that the Mumbai police have also been very active and have cracked many complicated cases. You take Badlapur as an example, you take cases in the past which have been highlighted on your channel and by the opposition, and not only have the guilty been brought to task, fear of law has also been necessary in a larger perspective, and that has come to light. Having said that, those people who are trying to make this about, oh, you know, there is no law and order, please look within, look at your own homes, look at states like West Bengal, where you've had a rampage out in the public domain. You've had cases which have not been dealt with, perpetrators of rape which have not been brought to task. So this is not a comparative study, and I don't want to go into that. But I just want to say to the opposition, it's so unfortunate you have lost a leader like Baba Siddique in the public domain. Rather than cracking the case and coming up with the motive of the case, you're playing your petty politics and talking about people resigning. You talk about corruption. The most corrupt government that was unseated was this Mahavinash Agadi. And let's not forget the COVID mismanagement, which everyone knows of. So it's all very well to just try and make it a political issue with assembly elections round the corner. But
so actually that's again an important message, that you must not politicize, you know, a senior leader's death there, and absolutely shocking how he was shot. But thanks very much, Shaina NC, for being with us on the show this evening. A lot of concerns being raised as far as the law and order situation is concerned, and certainly, as I said and has been repeating, a grim reminder of Mumbai's dark underbelly. But looking at some other news now, well, the fallout of the RG Kar Medical College and Hospital rape and murder case, well, doctors continue to be up in arms. It's been more than 2 months since that horrific incident took place in Kolkata, and doctors continue to demand justice. This is not about one victim, it's about doctors' safety in general. And 3 protesting doctors are critically ill as we speak as well. But now the medical body, the top medical body, has said that, well, there should be a nationwide call for a medical shutdown of elected services. So that's an important letter there that FIMA, in fact, has written. And let me go across to my colleague Shreya Ghosh joining us live. So Shreya, the doctors' body there calling for a nationwide shutdown, that could have major ramifications. But what more do you have? Are all state resident doctors' body also planning to extend their support, because that becomes important?
That's right. So FIMA has, in fact, announced this healthcare professionals across the country will shut down the elective services tomorrow to demand justice for their colleague Abhaya, who was raped and murdered within the RG Kar college premises. And the main demand has been to ensure safer working conditions in these hospitals. And of course, we also know that 3 doctors have already been hospitalized, and they are at a very critical condition right now. And the hunger strike by the junior doctors in West Bengal has today entered its 9th day, and 3 doctors have been critically in a critical state, and these doctors are demanding justice for the victim as well as reforms to improve the security in hospitals statewide. And people across West Bengal, including senior citizens and supporters from Malda and Murshidabad, have also joined in this symbolic fast to express their solidarity. And in fact, doctors have also called for a statewide Aradhan, which is a day to sort of urge people to refrain from cooking as a mark of support. And despite the whole Durga Puja festivity,
News that matters to you. In a world of shifting power dynamics, India stands tall as a global force. Join us at the NDTV World Summit 2024. where Prime Minister Narendra Modi will unveil his transformative vision for the India century. Be a part of a summit of thought leaders and visionaries shaping the world's future. NDTV World Summit, October 21st and 22nd on the...
Good evening at 6 o'clock. You're watching NDTV. I'm Vedanta Kavala. Special focus on the show with the big developing story in Mumbai. Baba Siddique's murder, the fallout, and of course the probe picking pace. We'll get you all the latest on that. First, a quick look at the headlines we're tracking at this hour. The Mumbai police probe the Bishnoi link to Baba Siddique's murder. This is the main shooter of Baba Siddique's is now in police custody, a 7-day police custody. One shooter, however, has fled Maharashtra. Fallout of Baba Siddique's murder, Salman Khan's security in question now. In fact, Salman Khan's security has been enhanced. This is a superstar actor visits Baba Siddique's family after his death. The opposition ups the ante on law and order after Baba Siddique's murder. A maha collapse of law and order, says the opposition. Meanwhile, the MVA's charge sheet against Mahayuti ahead of the polls. Mahayuti's Maha Vinash Aghadi jai by the MVA. Meanwhile, in Karnataka, it's a BJP versus a Congress over the 2022 riots case. In the Hubli riots, the Congress government drops the UAPA charge. The BJP calls it appeasement. The Congress says it was lack of evidence in the case that prompted us to drop the charge. Doctors up in arms 2 months after the RG Kar horror. Several protesting doctors critically ill. This as a national medical body calls for a nationwide shutdown of elected services. And let's get you all the breaking developments from Mumbai. This as a probe is picking pace in the Baba Siddique murder. Well, the crime branch says that they are probing a Bishnoi gang link to Baba Siddique's murder. Of course, that's extremely important given the fact that there was a social media post that was doing the rounds in which the Bishnoi gang claimed responsibility for Baba Siddique's murder. Of course, this is a notorious gangster that had also put out that warning for Salman Khan, saying anyone who is Salman Khan's friend is our enemy, which is why Salman Khan's security also is now in question. Remember, Baba Siddique, a political strongman, one of the tallest politicians of Maharashtra, and a key Muslim face of the Congress. Of course, he had joined the NCP just months ago. And he was also very close to Bollywood families, including, of course, Salman Khan's family, and extremely close to Sanjay Dutt as well. Now, these are the two shooters who are now in police custody. One of the shooters was not sent to police custody because there was some contention as far as his age was concerned, which is why the court has ordered the police to sort of prove his age before he can be sent to police custody. But let's listen into what the Mumbai crime branch, in fact, had to say. They've confirmed that a Bishnoi gang link is now being investigated as well. Listen in.
कल शाम 9 से 9:30 बजे के बीच में एक्स स्टेट मिनिस्टर बाबा सिद्दीकी ये उनके ही बेटे के ऑफिस के बाहर जब आए तो उसी वक्त उन पर गोलीबारी की एक घटना निर्मल नगर पुलिस स्टेशन के एरिया में हुई है। इस घटना के बारे में निर्मल नगर पुलिस स्टेशन में ऑफिस दर्ज किया गया है और तुरंत ही इसका इन्वेस्टिगेशन क्राइम ब्रांच को सौंपा गया है। इस घटना के तुरंत बाद जो भी पुलिस वहां पे मौके पे मौजूद थी, इसमें निर्मल नगर पुलिस स्टेशन के एपीआई दाभाड़े और उनके साथ के अधिकारी और कर्मचारियों ने बहुत ही बड़ा साहस दिखाते हुए इमीडिएटली एक्शन लेते हुए 2 एक्यूज को स्पॉट पे ही पकड़ने में सफलता उनको मिली है और इस ऑफेंस का भी इन्वेस्टिगेशन क्राइम ब्रांच की तरफ से हर एक एंगल से किया जा रहा है।
सर, बरामद क्या हुआ है? आरोपी से बरामद क्या हुआ है? ये कहा जा रहा है कि 2 पिस्टल बरामद हुई है और दोनों की उम्र को लेकर भी, एक आरोपी की उम्र को लेकर भी सवाल कोर्ट में खड़े हुए, क्या मामला है?
एक्यूज के पास से 2 पिस्टल और 28 राउंड्स हमने बरामद किए हैं और एक्यूज की कस्टडी जो है 21 तारीख तक हमें मिली है। इस घटना में लॉरेंस बिश्नोई गैंग का जो रोल है उसके बारे में हम इन्वेस्टिगेशन कर। जब वो उनके बेटे के ऑफिस से के बाहर आए और कहीं जा रहे थे, उसी वक्त ये फायरिंग हुई है। हमलावर जो थे वो 3 थे, उसमें से 2 हमलावरों को तुरंत ही पकड़ने में हमारी मुंबई पुलिस के ऑफिसर्स और कर्मचारियों को सफलता मिली। उनको कैटेगराइज प्रोटेक्शन नहीं था, लेकिन 3 लोग उनके प्रोटेक्शन के लिए दिए गए। प्लेस ऑफ इंसिडेंट्स पे जिन लोगों ने फायरिंग की है वो 3 लोग थे, उसमें से 2 पकड़े गए और 1 फरार है, उसका सर्च शुरू है। एक्यूज कब मुंबई में आए थे, कहाँ रह रहे थे, कौन से लोगों ने उनको मदद की या फिर किसने पैसे प्रोवाइड किए, लॉजिस्टिकल सपोर्ट किसने दिया, इन सभी एंगल से हम इन्वेस्टिगेट कर रहे हैं।
कोर्ट में पुलिस वालों ने इसमें पुलिस कस्टडी मांगी थी, उसको हमने ऑब्जेक्ट किया हुआ था। उसमें 14 डेज की पुलिस कस्टडी मांगी थी, तो ऑनरेबल कोर्ट ने इसमें 7 डेज की पुलिस कस्टडी दी हुई है। एंड आई एम बीइंग द ऑफिसर ऑफ द कोर्ट, वी हैव असिस्टेड द कोर्ट इन द मैटर एंड द जुडिशियल प्रोसीडिंग इज गोइंग ऑन.
And let's go across to our reporters now. Radhika Ramaswamy is with us. Anuj is also joining us live. Radhika, over to you first. Well, it's now confirmed the police are investigating the Bishnoi gang.